Hello,
Hello.
sir.
Hello, Mr. Bonny. How the devil are you? Are you good?
Welcome. I'm doing great, actually. I'm hyped.
Amazing. Right, I think we're going to have a bit of a match on our hands today, Mr. Bonny. Do you know who we're going to be casting in the first semi-final?
Yeah, I do, obviously. I mean, first of all, we have X-Crash, which is
Yeah,
X-God and Ashton.
absolutely, dude. That's going to be a
I think
really hyped one.
they've won 2 or 3 cups together. I'm unsure right now. I think it was one Nova Cup at least, and then one cup before, if I
I
remember
think
right.
X-God and Ashton, they won both of
Oh, the
the,
first
the
Nova Cups.
Seraphim and the Devilfish Cups, the kind of pre-series to the Nova Cups that happened last year. And they
Yeah.
also, I think, won the January Nova Cup, which is pretty hype. And then obviously, Aviator and SSP won February, and
Oh, true.
both teams in the semi-final now. So there's a good chance that one of them can win the March Cup as well. But obviously, we don't want to count out #1. That's King Dans and Boo Boy, and of
Yeah.
course the second team that we have on today's semi-final, which is remind me,
It's the Banana Boys, the old
the Banana
school,
Boys. Do you know who they
old
are?
school
Like, have
team.
you know who the players are
No,
in the Banana Boys? Like anyone
no,
notable
actually.
or
No, I think there's just some vanilla guys. Somehow they
yeah,
surprised us yesterday with some decent play, but
just like
I don't
some
know what to
some
expect from them.
some Platinum Elo guys who just kind of
Yes.
accidentally found their way into Division 1, right? Something like this.
Yeah, something like this. I think they paid
Yeah,
Seraphim via PayPal.
yeah.
I heard something like this in Discord, and yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Guys, Twitch chat, I hope that everyone who was here yesterday for the show is back again on Sunday for the grand finals. We're going to have a hell of a show. We've got the semi-final of X-Crash, that's X-God and Ashton Butcher, versus the Banana Boys, of course, Widdowson and the Dams. That will be up first, and then after that, we're going to have the grand finals. Obviously, we don't know who the winners will be yet of the semi-finals, but either way, it's going to be an amazing show. So we had some pretty insane games on the stream yesterday. Bonnie, did you manage to catch any of the games?
Yeah, I saw now the full series of Aviator and SSP playing
Oh man,
against Choke and Shadow. It
that was
was
such a
actually a
sick
thriller.
series. That was
It
such a
was it
good
was really
series.
good. It was
Oh
a
man,
really good, exciting legion.
I felt for Shadow and Joke so much. Like they dominated game 1 with Joke on You, the God Gamer Fiesta player, and then game 2 they had their king on 1% HP, and then Aviator and SSP managed to reverse sweep. It's just so
Crazy.
gutting, like that Joke and Shadow couldn't convert that one. It was so close, like within a whisker of winning that 2-0. So I mean, man, it was an exciting series to watch.
100% agree that. I think this was like, I mean, we had so many exciting series. I think one of the Legion in-house leagues, I think it was last Legion in-house league Grandmaster Division, had like a super exciting best of 5 as well, which was Banana Boys against #1, I think.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was
That
absolutely
was that
nuts.
was amazing as well. But yesterday's game was a real thriller as well.
Yeah.
Um, it's
I
obviously
feel like
totally
all of
different.
the like the big Legion tournaments are getting better and better lately. Like the quality of play is getting higher and higher.
Yeah.
The strength of the field is better and better. Like in the very early tournaments, we'd normally have 1 or 2 teams that kind of dominate the field, and now it just seems like there's so many teams. Like any of the 4 semi-finalists today can win the grand final for sure. Like
Yeah, 100% agreed. I think there might be a surprise today, like one team stepping up and like really going for the 2-0s and 3-0 in the final. But I don't
yeah.
think this is gonna happen. I actually think it's gonna be a lot more than the 5 games, more like 7 or 8 games. We will see
Oh, for sure. And
today.
I don't like last month in February, all of the matches went the full distance. So we
Yeah,
had, the full 3 games played, then the full 5 games played, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that again today, just because,
no,
like I say, the field of play is so tight. Like all of these
yeah,
teams are right at the top level, and I just think that
100% agrees.
anyone can take this, just depending, we'll have to see what the roles are like, the spells are like, but ultimately it's going to come down to decision making, I think.
I think so as well. I think the rules are gonna play a very important part again due to the meta, the recent meta. You have this still very late game oriented meta you have,
Yep.
but now the new spells might mix it up. So you have the Divine Blessing, especially. You can either play for like even more late game, or you could play for a nice mid game power spike. So maybe we will see some more mid game action happening with certain builds.
Mhm.
Maybe a Divine Blessing. Finish on 15. Imagine that.
Divine
Last
Blessing.
time seen in
What do you think
2021.
about? What do you think about Divine Blessing? Because I don't think I've actually ever played it. Like, it just seems. Obviously, it's insane, right? Like, if you just need to hold wave 11 or 12 or whatever, then it's got to be the best spell in the game, right? Like,
Yes.
it's because it's 2000 HP, it's 18% attack speed. That is a huge power spike to hold one big send, right? But the problem is that as soon as you leak, it's gone. Or even if your teammate leaks, it's gone like half the time, right? So it's like super high risk reward spell. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to think about it yet.
Same. It's somehow. I'm still unsure. I never managed to play it because of one reason. I always pick Castle when it's in the game, just to kind of try to play for it. So I usually go Castle and then try to find some OP combo I can overvalue for in the mid game and then just be unbreakable. A Doppelganger Butcher, for example, or Avenger Butcher, something like this. You're looking for?
Yeah, solid choices.
In the normal cases, yeah, exactly. Or the Phoenix, maybe even.
And what do you think about Battle Scars, by the way? So the other new spell.
I think it is interesting, but in most cases, it's probably not really useful. I fear because you might
dude. I think it's the best. I think it's the best scaling spell in the game. Yeah, 100%.
It is probably the best scaling spell, but if you want to have like more of an influence on what's gonna happen with your role, I think it's not that great because yes, you can maybe dictate like the first 3 or 4 times the HP is gonna given to whatever unit, but after that it's mostly random, I guess.
Yeah,
I think in most cases it's gonna be somewhat random.
It almost doesn't matter though, does it? Like it's only going to go on a big unit. You're never going to get it on a tier 1 or something like this. It's only going to be on one of your upgraded big units. But you only need like 3 or 4 stacks, and it doesn't have to be on one unit. And you've already got more value than like Titan just from the HP alone. Like even if you ignore the attack speed, like after 3 waves, it's already better than Titan. And then it's only getting better from there, right?
That's a problem. I think you can't really compare it to Titan because Titan is for sure one of the worst spells at the moment.
Well, even if you compare it to like Hero or something, right? Hero is 6.5%. Sure, it's an aura, so you can hit, you can hit 7 units with it. But it's going to give you more HP and more damage than Hero after a certain point.
I agree. It has some more potential, especially if your role features a lot of damage units, a lot of DPS units. It might be a lot better than Hero because you get this tankiness you might lack. So especially in roles where you have a lot of damage units, it might be a very strong choice.
Yeah, for sure. Right, I guess we're waiting for players to get into the lobby. They're a little bit late, but we'll let them off just this once.
Adams was here but left again, so I don't know what he's up to.
Maybe he was in one of the spots that got closed.
Would have
kicked him. Yeah. He's looking for a better teammate.
Well, I can jump in.
I said a better teammate. I don't know if he wants you.
Sorry. Misunderstood.
But it's been a while actually since we've been able to cast a tournament game together. It
has been a long time actually because I've always tried to play, never managed to do so.
Tried to play.
And apart from this, I think I didn't have a lot of just time to cast with you.
Yeah, well, you've been busy, right? Like the viewers on stream can see in the little caster bios underneath there that you've just moved house. So how did that go?
Yeah, I did. Well, most of it went well. I'm still having parts of the kitchen behind me, so forgive me.
Yeah. Although I see you managed to clear out some of the boxes that were there earlier. That's really good.
I was able to shift some already.
Yeah. So Twitch chat, Bonny just absolutely sparing no expense here in the effort for the cast. He even managed to clear out some boxes.
I already managed to give some sweat for the cast.
Yeah. Man, well, we all appreciate it, and it's going to be a really exciting game. I can see all 4 players are in the lobby now.
Yes. Just a few more seconds for X-Guard, and then we will be able to start. So, we have Ashton, who's playing or spamming a lot of YOLO in ranked games. In Legion in-house League, he never did so. So he's likely to go for some vanilla stuff like Greed again.
I think X-God's bullying him into playing safe. Like, X-God's maybe a bit more risk-averse than Ashton is, and he's just saying, look, we want to win, there's money on the line, can you just pick Greed, please? And then Ashton's like, fine, I wanted to pick YOLO, but, you know, if it's that important to you, XGod, I'll greed.
Yeah. I actually would even say that XGod is like the most passive player in tournaments of all of the 8 players we still have today. Like, he's always playing so slow. He's usually going for the longest stage.
Quite safe. I mean, but if you give him, he's one of those players where if you kind of give him an inch, he'll take a mile. So, like, if you income send once too often to XGod, he will just go insane on workers.
Yeah, but this is mainly like happening within the mid game. Like the first 9 waves, he's never really gonna go for some greedy pushes like you would see from Ashton, who's sometimes like 8 workers on 4 or whatever.
But I think you're right though. I think his kind of style is to just play kind of safe and steady and wait for the enemy to make a mistake, and then as soon as the enemy makes a mistake, he'll like pounce on you and capitalize. The problem is the Banana Boys, they don't make too many mistakes.
Yeah, they usually don't. Sometimes you have this game where one of them is kind of a bit feedy, but this happens to everyone because they are really trying to be greedy, a lot more greedy than most other teams, at least.
But anyway, guys, without any further ado, the filler is over. It's game time. Let's get into game number 1, Banana Boys versus X-Crash.
Nice. We can already see, at least it's one of my favorite openers because it's very aggressive. We have Widdowson having Aqua, Cat, and the Hawk in his role.
Oh, that's insane.
Especially the Cat and Hawk is a very nice opener.
I think Nekomata and Windhawk is just an absolutely insane pair for the early game. Like, you just don't really have weak waves for the first 9 waves. It's crazy with 2 units.
If you have Polly on top, it's actually crazy. Like Polly as a tier 1 unit, this is just a nuts roll, 3 units, gonna give you such a strong early game.
Well, he has the Firelord as well, right? Which obviously it's not an early game unit, so it doesn't kind of fill in those gaps. But for late game, it's insane.
I mean, overall, he's lacking a bit of the tanks you would look for. He does have the Buckler, or the Anglers, which he's actually taking. In this case, and he's not going for the Nekomata, which I'm really surprised about. Yeah,
I really would have liked him to take the Neko. I think it's such a good pair. But I guess he just wants to take the Anglers for his pierce damage, and then obviously the Gargoyle there for the Arcane tank. So I can see why, but it still wouldn't have been my choice.
And especially like the Widdowson and Adams, the Banana Boys, they have way similar roles than you would like usually. You have the Nightmares, the Phoenix, and some decent stuff in between, nothing too spectacular. I fear this could be a problem for them moving towards mid and late game.
Yeah, I can see that. How do you feel about the spells? Because we do have 2 very aggressive spells and only 1 kind of middling defensive spell there with the Protector.
I do really like those spells because this will force players to play a little bit more aggressive starting after wave 10. The only thing I fear is, since usually most early games at the moment are quite passive, you sometimes have those longer saves, but with the buff of the King HP this got nerfed obviously. So you might not have enough workers to go for this overworked play, so it's likely going to be either press the attack for an 11 send or probably just going for this Protector to play it safe. That's what I fear.
And to be fair, like, Widdowson can be okay on 11, obviously with Big Kingpin, with Violet, but Adams is looking pretty weak on 11, unless he rerolls into something good. XGod obviously looking very strong there with the Azaria. Ashton also has Azaria in his role as well, so both XGod and Ashton can be good on 11. I would be more worried for Widdowson and Adams if there's going to be some big, like, press the attack 11 send.
We didn't talk about XGod and Ashton sense right now, so maybe I'm just really out of the current meta because I didn't play too much lately, but the rules of XGod and Ashton, they don't look amazing either. Like Ashton not having tanks besides the Buckler, and XGod somehow missing the damage, I fear.
Yeah.
Like he has the Azaria and the Coiler, but the synergy between Azaria and Coiler is not as great as with Coiler and other units.
Oh, but look at this. XGod was already on 6 workers, now receiving a Dragon Turtle. Is that enough to leak the Azaria Peewee, or is it just a free hold?
No. I think an Azaria even holds 40 without a tier 1 in split, but I'm unsure about that.
What was she healing? It's a hold, right? Wow. So X-God and Ashton now both on 7 workers. Meanwhile, Widdowson on 5, Adams on 6. Ashton does a small leak, which is... he's happy with this. He's really happy with this. Yeah, they have a good worker lead. They get long waves. Yeah. This is perfect for X-Crash.
Leading by 3 workers, getting this extra time for them. This is so juicy. The only problem X will now face, he's only able to build a buckler and the Peewee, which is obviously not a lot. But since there's no recent coming, who cares?
And meanwhile, Widdowson has been forced to upgrade his bounty hunter here with only 52 stacks, so the small angler died a bit too quickly on wave 2 and 3, didn't get the stacks he needed. So that's going to cost him.
Especially like 52 stacks is so little if you think about the fact that the angler just got buffed, getting now 2 stacks for each minion or each creep dying around it.
Yeah,
like it's actually rough.
If your angler stays alive for the first 3 waves, it always has 75 stacks.
Yeah. Always.
So it's pretty crazy. Like, you can just speed run that 150 stack Kingpin by starting with an angler. It's pretty nice.
That's true. I don't know if it's that nice. I'm still not a fan of Kingpin nowadays. It's just...
a bit slow?
I think we did... Well, it's slow on one hand, and on the other hand, it's like just giving wrong information with the value shown. So you usually think you're a lot stronger than you actually are.
Oh, sure.
So I always feel trapped a bit playing Kingpin.
Fair enough. But look, we've got some big sends coming in here. We've got the Imps on 5 from X-God.
Oh, that's something
into
new
Adams.
From X-God.
But Adams, he has 3 Oathbreakers. Like, I think he can just be fine here.
But if he's not sniping an Imp, he probably leaks because Imps on 5 are just insane. And the Oathbreakers, especially the one in the split and the one in front of the Nightmare, they will die immediately.
Yeah.
So they won't make any use of their passive, not really at least. So I think he's still leaking.
Oh, he is. Yeah, you're right. But meanwhile, over here, there was a really nice play from Ashton that we didn't really mention. He actually shifted big on wave 4 to get this Priestess out for wave 5, which gives him a free hold against the Hermit Snail from Adams. That's such a good play there from Ashton. Yeah.
Oh, look at the leak! It's insane.
So like, Adams with 3 Oathbreakers, leaking 60%. That's way more than I expected.
Crazy. And Widdowson not even able to clear, even though he didn't receive a stand. So, he received a snail, alright. But
now that the King's been hitting the gym, you know, he's a bit stronger than he used to be. He can take it.
He can take it. Now, soon looking like Widdowson. Not quite yet.
Well, but Ashton's actually starving Widdowson out a little bit. He's still on 7 workers, while Ashton has 9. And Widdowson's forced to keep his value really high here. Now, Ashton, if he goes for something like 3 brutes on 7, I think Widdowson might be in quite a lot of trouble. Even with his value being super high. Like, he's on value here, but on wave 7 he just has no damage.
Yeah, he has to build a Nightmare. No matter what, he has to add the Nightmare on 7, right? Even if Widdowson got a send now, he probably had to add the Nightmare for 7. Like, this is such a rough spot for him, because he did choose to not take the Nikomata, but the Nightmare. So he will be forced to place the Sniper for 7, and then for 8 he's still not looking great.
So let's see then, is Ashton going to go for triple brute here on 7, or do you think he's just going to go for an income send? Meanwhile, actually, X-God leaking with 600 value here. Leaking big as well, 61% there to an income send.
He was going for the Serpent, and I mentioned it before, Serpent in this area is just not a great combo you would like to play for, because they both rely on additional tanks you will add. So the Serpent in my eyes a bit too early placed, but he probably just didn't want to go for a veteran for those 90 gold, which I can think of a valid thought. Not going for.
And Ashton, he does go for the income send after all, so that's the answer to that question.
Ashton Drake.
Yeah.
If you get a Drake on 7, it is from Ashton. It's always like this.
I mean, that's 160 Mythium right there. It could have been a Mimic, it could have been, you know, he even gets the 20, so it could have been 3 Brutes. But he's just going for the income. It is Ashton Butcher after all.
What I think about is Ashton now going for the income send, right? Yeah. But is he actually thinking to league Widdowson with it? Because this last snail ad is something I usually am angry about myself afterwards, because you could just invest it to the king, right? But you only send the snail if you really think you're gonna league your opponent.
I mean, to be fair, if he didn't have the Nightmare, he probably would leak the income send because the rest of his units are so weak.
He probably will still leak the Drake, right? The knife is getting sniped.
I don't know if a bounty hunter wins a 1v1 with a Drake. I guess we're about to find out. It looks like it does.
Yeah, it looks like it does.
Meanwhile, over in Adam's lane, that is going to be a hold as well. So both Banana Boys holding their sends here. And X-God actually, oh no, look at the focus there, 15% on the Brute.
But it's still like fine, right? Ashton has been in the worker lead for
and now he's on 12. Look at his income as well, actually.
Yeah, it's just Ashton, right? He's scaling with income. Even though he's saved two waves, he's ahead in income, he's ahead in workers. He's taking those income sends. It's just Ashton.
He goes for the resend here. And Widdowson, with his 80 gold, is he going to build 2 more gargoyles, or is he shifting the Kingpin?
Where do you see 80 gold?
Oh, he actually pushed. Widdowson had 87 gold. He's actually pushed one more worker.
Okay. I wouldn't already.
He might pay for that here if Ashton goes for a full send.
Resend, yeah. Maybe. I'm pretty sure he's adding a Dragon Turtle, right?
Is he going to add? Is he going to add? He does. He has the lizard. Okay. Well, this could be a leak here on Widdowson. Like, I know he has the Nightmare, but that Dino's going to wrap around now and tank the damage. He's still killing actually quite a lot of the way.
Violet now it's getting on the spell number 2.
Oh,
okay.
So number 2, that's big.
Violet. Yeah, that's a leak. And not too small. Like 40%, I would guess.
Yeah. Going to clear the lizard now, but he won't kill anything else after that. Oh wow, it actually attacks the low HP one.
Yeah,
I thought for sure it was going to go for the high one, but okay, that's a very small leak then 100%. From Widdowson.
Yeah. If I played here, it was the one with the most HP, for sure.
Oh yeah, if this was me, like my Violet's going to die before it gets the second spell off. I'm going to get the worst focus known to man, and I'm probably leaking about 60%, so the same send with the same build. So that's why they call me the unluckiest man alive.
You could just spin around and not attack anyone.
Yeah. Widdowson now going astronomical with his workers. He's on 14 here.
This is such a good play, by the way. Like we talked about Kingpin being like super slow, super soft, but with this Violet on top of the bounty hunter, so usually you will see now, okay, he got to send on 8, he likely won't upgrade the bounty now because he wants to get more stacks and push.
Yep.
So
you go for a reset.
A reset would be fine, but with the Violet, and especially the Violet very close to the wall, so it's likely to get 2 spells out, Ritter's quite safe against the normal resend, and so getting more stacks, getting a lot of workers on top, so I think he's in a really nice spot now.
And meanwhile, in Adam's lane, he did get that Fire Lord out that we talked about earlier. It's tanking perfectly, so it's low mana, dealing insane damage against the wave. It's just a free hold for Mr. Adams against the income send there from X-God. And they have to be scared now, right? Because look at the Mythium on the Banana Boys. Oh, this is a big wave 10 send coming out.
It is a big wave 10. Oh, Widdowson almost going for a non-income Ghost Knight. I think he just barely got it out. Well, we did talk about very upcoming aggression, right, on 11 and 12 due to the spells, but we didn't even mention the possibility of a 10 aggression, especially with 2 players going for Priestess.
This is massive as well. Like, so Widdowson, he didn't know that X-God has Millennium in his role, and X-God just places it here. He's receiving a Ghost Knight. He's going to be a pretty sad Mr. X-God when he sees that Ghost Knight enter his lane.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, an Ogre, in case the Ghost Knight doesn't go out in income, would have been perfectly as well.
But this is going to take him so long to kill the Ghost Knight.
Serpent's going to get sniped soon.
The boosted Veteran is nice, so there's actually some damage against it, and it does die. But this is going to be a boss leaking on very high HP. Meanwhile,
but look at Ashton. He's likely even going to hold. The send against Ashton wasn't that big of a threat. He's adding 3 Dragon Turtles.
Yeah,
but the elite archers are just fine to snipe them.
Nice. Meanwhile, X-God 69%. That's pretty nice for the Banana Boys. Adams does leak very, very small with a boss on 1% HP, which of course Widdowson will clear. But Ashton's not covering this at all in the mid. Like, this is going to be a decent bit of king damage.
It is 100%, but they have a bit more king HP. They already have the 2 heals that Ashton usually does in wave 1, at least one of them. But the thing is now, Ashton seems pretty fine in game, and he does have the reroll, he does have the boars now. So he's not playing for the Asteria anymore to let tank, I assume. At least he won't do that later. And he does have the Boar Doomsday combo.
And X-God going for some egg play as well. This is risky though, because he doesn't have the Priestess. If there was any kind of resend here, I'd say for sure he's losing that egg.
Going for the egg sack into 2 offensive spells is like very ballsy, I have to say.
I think
especially with the value he does have. This is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even with no send here, there's a chance that he loses that egg. Like, the Priestess is basically his only damage unit on this wave, and it can definitely just get sniped out early because it doesn't have the strength that an Azaria does.
Why is he only adding PVs?
Nothing else he can add. He only had 70 gold.
Oh, he rerolled the bucklers. I didn't see that. He rerolled as well.
Okay, the Priestess is living, so that should be enough for him to hold here. But the Banana Boys didn't send any income, so there can be a big send on wave 12.
Yeah, it can be, and I actually think the play that Widdowson and Adams are going for is like very nice. They know both opponents have the Priestess, they're really weak on 12, and especially now with Ixos going for the X-Hack, I really don't understand it, right? Sure, he wants to scale, he doesn't really have a lot of tanks beside it, but this is just the wrong spot to go for it, I fear.
I think X-God's going to leak. He's going to leak massively, yeah. Like, he's 110 below value, but he also has an egg, so he's actually like 400 undervalue pretty much, which is kind of a dangerous spot to be in, and he is receiving another Ghost Knight. We saw how much damage that did on wave 10 against him. I think X-God might be in a spot of trouble now.
Well, he might even have to force his egg to tank with like boosting PVs here and here to pull down the wave and let the egg tank and die.
I mean, Ashton I think has a chance to hold here, but X-God I'm not too confident that he's holding.
Oh, and by the way, he mispositioned one of the Wanderers, right? I think his Azaria might tank not enough in some cases.
She needs to heal. She needs to heal. Okay, there goes the heal.
On this wave it's fine, but on wave 13 with this Wanderer, she might actually not tank enough.
She's dead now. Okay, so he will leak, but it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Ashton, of course, is holding with his pretty high 2.1k value.
Yeah.
But
Ashton's really stepping up now, right? He does not quite have the most workers, but he does have by far the most value, plus the same workers as Widdowson.
He's also way ahead in terms of income. Like, he's already 30 income ahead of Widdowson, while having like an extra 50 Mythium on top. So I think Ashton's in a solid spot here.
He is in a very solid spot, and on top of this, Axel does have the axe. I think he's a bit too far behind to now play for axe and like come back like this, I fear. But in the very end, there might be the chance of him suiciding sometime because Ashton's just so fat.
Well, he'll
I think
need
this
to
is actually an option for him.
He's going to need to, because X-God's actually way behind the other players. Like, his value's high, of course, because of the egg play, but just look at his workers. He's on 11 versus 23 on Widders and 20 on Dams. Like, he's going to need to start pressing that button.
He's actually now in a spot where I'm always unsure if it's actually worth it for him to go for this X-Sack and really try to come back, or if he actually just should try to keep up with the workers, to keep up pressure against the Adamas, because right now he's giving up pressure and he's behind and has to sacrifice everything just to maybe come back, or to maybe come back to a spot where he might be decent in some waves.
Ashton's Azaria just surviving the left side of the wave there.
Yeah.
Alright, so
meanwhile, we
like...
actually had rerolls on Wither as well, rolling for the Antler, and obviously Antler Gates.
Oh, nice.
What a juicy roll to
Antler
go for.
Gates with Protector as well, to get the extra value out of those gates there.
Especially look at the Antler position. How greedy is this? You already can see out of this. Okay, I'm playing for 20.
That's
I'm playing for 19.
Greedy. Like, you just make a white main here, no? Okay, he wants his Ocean Templar there. That's understandable. I see. That's understandable. But look at the worker count now. With Adams is just, he knows exactly how to play against this X-Sack play from X-God. He's just going to push the workers. Like, Adams' value is super low. He doesn't care. He knows that X-God doesn't have any workers. So he's just going to abuse that here.
He pushed before. He did push now against the second egg, but he now shifts, especially even though he's quite weak on 14 with the Phoenix only. But now he's shifting some gold to just be more flexible to whatever wave they want to play for or want to defend themselves. Because Ashton, 500 Mythium. This is going to be a big send.
Here it comes. Okay. So X-God, he can only afford a Witch because, of course, with his 11 workers, he's quite far behind everybody else in terms of Mythium. Ashton has quite a lot, though. So that's a Shaman, that's 2 Fiends. He'll have a bit more to send after income as well.
This is such a good play.
This is dangerous.
Sure, you do have Adams with the Phoenix and the Ocean Templar,
but his value is so low.
There's not enough to back it up.
Yeah.
The send is quite large. I'm unsure about the Witch. I don't really agree on the Witch.
It was the only thing that Xbox could afford, right? Like he
I
probably
just want to say, I didn't see how much he had.
Yeah.
But Witch is not the best because X is just so far behind. But with only 200, it's probably the best you can go for.
Yeah.
But apart from this, their values aren't shining. Like Widdowson, 3.1k value, receiving 600.
This Phoenix is dying very quickly. It's full tanking the wave. It's gone. That was all of Adam's value. There goes his hopes of holding here. Yeah, this is going to be a big leak on Adams. So let's check in with Widdowson.
And now that the thing is, even if this is not killing them, which is maybe even doing so, I think this is actually lethal because there's 2 bosses, there's a shaman. Yeah. This might be lethal.
Both bosses on pretty much full HP as well.
Even if it's not, Widdowson's 600 won't matter because they can just full king up. Ashton is just fat as hell. I think that was just a massive misplay by them not going for the cent here.
I would agree.
Well, I mean, I can understand they thought they're strong enough, especially Adams with the Phoenix, right? But since the Phoenix just got sniped...
I mean, Adams is strong on the wave, but he just has no value to back it up.
Ooh,
it's over! That was so close, but GG! XGod and Ashton taking game number 1.
Damn, what a performance by Ashton. Like, he really carried this hard.
He absolutely did. He absolutely... And I was praising Adams there for playing correctly against the eggs in pushing hard his workers, but you know, if he pushed 1 or 2 less, he'd have been able to hold there on wave 15.
Yes, I think so. And one thing I have to just praise Ashton a bit more in this game, because you mentioned it on wave 4, but we never really talked about it too much. This shift on wave 4, getting out the Assyria on 5, was so just big. The play, carrying and winning him the game, I would even say, because he's 7 workers on 4, shifting with massive undervalue, just hoping for a new reason to be there. Then boom, Assyria, and after he receives a cent here, even receiving a Hermit, so Adamas really tried to break him.
Yep.
He's going 9 workers, and from then on, I think he's never leaking anymore.
He's just snowballing,
yeah. Quite long saves on him. This is so massive.
He holds the 240 send there on 10, which was really big. He holds the 12 send and covers everything in the mid as well. And yeah, you're right. He's just Ashton absolutely putting this game on his back. And I have to say, like, I was a bit worried for the side there because XGod seemed to be quite far behind with his egg play and low workers. But the Banana Boys, like, they just didn't have the value there on wave 15, despite having like really solid builds, I have to say, like Phoenix, Ocean Templar with Badgers as well to tank the wave. Like Adams' build is perfect for 15. Widdowson has Gargoyle spam and Ocean Templar himself, but they just didn't have the value to hold that size send.
Well, Widdowson is somehow missing the value, right? You do have the skate, but it's summoning very slow, and then you don't really have a lot to back it up. And the other damage units he does have is basically the Kingpin, that's about it. While Adams, he does have this Monster Phoenix getting the buff from the Ocean Templar. I think it had the Protector buff as well, and the Leviathan, but it's just not enough. It
tanked too soon, yeah. It just tanked like the entire wave pretty much straight away, and then as soon as that Phoenix died, you know, that's game over for Adams.
It is. Like, I think they really trusted on this Phoenix. Like, even this shift, right? This all implies for they want to receive this 15 cent.
Yeah.
Because Adams is gonna have more value than you might assume.
Yeah.
And then he's just going for this surprise hold with the Phoenix being close to the Ocean Templar. I remember right, he never showed the Growl before, so there was a lot of value helping him to be strong on 15. He had the Badgers, he placed on 14, at least one he did, and then adding this Ocean Templar on 15. They really wanted to get the send on 15, Adamas to clutch hold it, and then to just win with their next send.
Yeah. You have to say, very well played there by X-Crash, you know, going for that undercut, and even with the low workers on XGod, it was just enough to get the lethal there on 15. They were 95% HP, like, 1 or 2 king attacks, and they probably would have lived, but yeah.
I think it was, or maybe even an AoE, because it was Immolation, so the spell's ticking all the time. Maybe if they're just able to go for this 1 or 2 more AoEs, they might be in a decent spot.
Yeah, that was it was super close. And I think the Banana Boys probably just overestimated their strength there on wave 15. Like they thought they were better off than they were. Maybe they didn't expect the size of the send coming in from Ashton, like the 600 Mythium.
Yeah, Ashton was
he presses
hard.
the worker button, like Ashton.
He does.
He knows where the U button is.
Yeah, some players don't these days, but Ashton he definitely knows. I think there's Ashton has 2 buttons. The on maybe 3 Alt F4 because his game crashes so often and so frequent, and the other one is the U button. And then he just has to check the auto send for the Drakes on 7, and that's about it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. But really well played, those guys. So now we do have a 1-0 advantage on the side of XCOD and Ashton Butcher. Bonny, what do you think about game 2? Are we going to get a 3-game series? I hope so. I want to see the Banana Boys. Right.
In my personal perspective, I think Banana Boys have been the favorite team going into this, especially since XCOD is not performing too great on the ladder at the moment, and Widdowson is top 10 for the entire season already. Adam is obviously coming back from a long break, but I think usually they should be the favorite team here, so I think they're now gonna play a bit more concentrated. They are gonna step it up a bit and maybe playing for some more early game oriented sense. What they actually like to do, especially Widdowson likes to do some stuff like this for a longer save in the early game sometime. So I think we will expect to see something like this.
Alright, well, I would love to see a game 3 as well, so hopefully the Banana Boys can come back swinging in this game number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's get into the game.
We do have this time a lot more of a passive spell choice, right? We do have all 3 scaling spells. You either go for the investment to get some extra gold, you have the villain, which is the large creep killer, wave 13, wave 18, you don't stand a chance. Or 20 especially, and then you do have the protector, which we just saw last game, probably the weakest out of those 3 spells at the moment, unless you have gates.
Yeah, I think protector on gates can be pretty insane, but it's also amazing on like a lifesteal doppel or the sovereign, which we do see in Ashton's role. I think you can't really underestimate protector. And speaking of gates, Widdowson does have them again in his role today. So
he does.
So let's see.
Overall, again, what is Widdowson's game going to be? Like, it's going to be something like Gate Guard Nikomata, a strong early game choice, maybe with Rats, very good at. Gate Guard Rats into Nikomata, so he can double Rat on one end on 2.
I mean, he could also go for 2 Anglers and a Seraphim, which I've been reliably informed is the best opener in the game.
I always thought it's like your flower performance.
He does go for the Angler, but not the Seraphim. He's starting Bounty Hunter. I am not a fan. I think
Bounty Hunter for sure is one of the weakest openers at the moment in the most games, especially against XCOD, because you will know XCOD is going to go for longer saves in the early game.
XCOD got snailed here, by the way, and he did go for a Windhawk opener. He's playing Rats as well.
Ashton. This is crazy. Why don't you snake Ashton? Like, if you snake one of those, you snake Ashton, don't you? Maybe Adamas forgot.
XCOD getting punished. A new, weaker Windhawk actually leaks 1 more creep now, so that's a 75% leak on XCOD. And it's a double punish for him, because not only is he on the Windhawk, he's also playing Rats. So the long wave is obviously bad for the treasure hunt there.
And Adamas with the 5 workers immediately, he's really in his element. He can push some. I don't know what he's up to build. Like, is he going for the 3 or 4 Bone Warriors? He doesn't really have anything in his role.
So XCOD is going to go for a double snail here, I guess. With the 2 workers, he won't get a 60 out.
XCOD, by the way, has the rule we mentioned before. Windhawk Cat, very strong opener.
Yeah.
Really good to go for. I don't like Widdowson's opener. I'm sorry. Like, he had such a nice potential with his Gate Guard.
I really don't like it either. I think it's such a slow opener there with the double anglers. I'm not a fan.
Like, I think anglers are a bit overvalued in the early game at the moment. Like, later on they're fine, but I personally like Kingpins as tanks. That's about it, because they have quite nice HP per gold. But
look at this aggro sharing on Ashton. But actually, he probably would have liked his pack rat to take some. So he'd get a 40 here. I think he's going to be fine. He does have very high value. He stayed 4 workers for this.
I mean, this positioning looks very interesting, though, right? If you would see this and post it in Discord, you would probably assume this is like some very low elo positioning, not meaning this negative. because you usually place your, especially Oathbreaker different, more towards the wall to get less aggro, but it's just working out perfectly for him.
Yeah. Now, X-God does get a 60 send out here against the Dams, and the Dragon Turtle, I think, will go into the Fire Archer here, so it'll be interesting to see whether we get a leak or not. He is very, very high value.
He is very high value, but you mentioned it correctly, right? The Dragon Turtle is going to go to the Fire Archer, and the Fire Archer will not be able to kill it.
But only 3 hoppers, though. I think the Fire Archer can withstand this.
No, I think the Dragon... Oh, let's see.
Yeah?
Damn, what play! I think the extra Bone Warriors he did add towards the middle of his lane, they actually pulled enough aggro to the left to make
that's
his Fire
a perfect hold there from Adams. How's X-God doing? Ashton did hold, and he was only 230 value. He got double snail, so pretty solid performance there. And X-God the same, so he holds a double snail too.
I'm a 7 worker. Holy shit! What?
Wow.
This is crazy. Like,
Everybody
this is
hard.
actually insane. This is so good for him. I mean, he does have this wave 5 still. Maybe he's going for the Berserker there because I don't think the Coiler's going to help him too much. But 7 workers here, this is so intense. Especially with X-God, his counterpart, being on 3 still.
Well, don't count out Ashton just yet because he has only 6 workers, but he has been treasure hunting like every wave apart from wave 2 so far.
And here, by the way, we mentioned before, the first 3 waves, getting not attack, easy, full stacks.
But there's the problem though, he's already capped on stacks, and obviously he wanted to push workers here rather than upgrade to the Bounty Hunter, so he is going to lose out on a little bit of potential, but it's not too bad.
But I think he can just upgrade it now, boost the Infiltrator, so he will have Yangler tank for the Infiltrator in most cases. Maybe that helps out.
Let's see
I think
if
you kind of have to upgrade it, right? Because you want those stacks. You don't want to miss on them.
Yeah.
After wave 7, you want to be at least at like 110.
But Ashton's saying he doesn't care about the stacks. He just wants to go for the Pilgrim, and you can't really blame him because it's incredible on wave 5.
Yeah. I think he's going for the Pilgrim, so he can treasure hunt.
Dams did go for the Coiler here rather than the Berserker. He's only receiving income from X-God, so he's going to be just fine, I think. And there's a double snail against Widdowson, who I think he should be okay as well. But actually, all of his units are bad on this wave.
Widdowson, by the way, is still saving. He already got the 85, and this is something I said before the game. I think he's now going for some longer saves.
Yeah.
And looking at X-God, it might be like a 7 or 8 even. And probably Dams now saving the rest to go with Widow for some later save. I would assume, especially with this worker leader Dams had, right? They probably agreed on, okay, you're gonna go for another send here, and I'm just gonna go straight because I'm still in 5 workers.
Yep.
So I think that's fine for them.
Meanwhile, Ashton up on 8 workers and treasure hunting, so he's starting to be in a pretty good position. But Widdowson really applying that pressure onto X-God, who is 3 workers, by the way.
Never mind. That's about it. Pressure is gone. It's only an income sent into a Windhawk, right? And look at X-God. He is so sure. Oh, maybe not.
I would like to see.
Oh, it might be a shift for the Millennium now.
Okay, that makes sense. But the send comes here.
I don't like it. Like, go for the double stack and then treasure hunt 1. Nice. That's what I like. You want those reds to be treasured.
He's scared.
No, we can't stay in 3 workers.
I guess he just has to push workers really hard now. And we do see that. So as soon as he sees the send, he starts to push the worker button.
Yeah. Now he basically has to full push and then maybe invest the last second to the cat to full second and then double treasure hunt to go maximum greedy. At least that is a position a lot of other players would do now.
Well, this is a win for the Banana Boys, by the way, because they forced X-God away from his treasure hunt. He is in a bit of an awkward position where he stayed super low workers, doesn't get the treasure hunt value, and of course he holds here. And meanwhile, Widdowson is leaking to the income send from Ashton, but only 1 creep. So
Ashton, look at Ashton. This guy is mental. Going 11 workers pre-wave 7,
and he's getting a full send here from Adams.
This is really crazy. Now he can just upgrade the Angler, I hope, to get some extra stacks on wave 7, because you can get up to 20 stacks plus all the mercenaries. He does still have some gold left.
He's finally rewarded that angler with the upgrade. Oh, but he changes his mind.
No.
Okay, he goes back for it again. He's taunting the casters. But this is very weak on wave 7. Very weak on wave 7. And he is getting a full send from Madame's.
Oh wow, Xcode even not pushing as aggressive, right? He's still on 5 workers. And this is something
at least now he's using his
right?
treasure hunt though.
We have Ashton now being a lot more of this heavy aggressive push in the early game, and we see Xcode playing it a lot safer, right? This is maybe like their team setup, right? You leave Ashton do your Ashton thing, he's just gonna free push this worker button, one of the 3 buttons he does have on the keyboard. And while that happens, Xcode is just gonna relax a bit, play a bit more passively, play a bit safer.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Oh, that's a decent leak there, 45% on Ashton. It's not the end of the world, especially when he has such a big worker lead. And meanwhile, Xcode is loving the long waves. He's at 160 Mythium already. He does have those hunted rats. When do you think he wants to send?
Now.
Yeah, okay, there's them all.
It's just, I mean, you do have the Coiler against you, which is very weak against the mole, especially if your opponent does not really have damage to kill the mole, which, at least if you look at the board, is not there. Maybe with the Berserker there will be something. And then you do have on top of this Widdowson, who is going to be strong on 9, adding a Kingpin. So you probably go for the best send together, which is Ashton now going for an income send against bounties. They're not too great here. And then you try to weaken Adamus with the mole, maybe even break him.
So Widdowson, actually, he could have made a Kingpin here on wave 8 with over 100 stacks. But he actually went for a gate instead, which is
I think they both predicted 9, right? We have Adamus adding 2 Wanderers, so they full build for 9, right? Adamus only having the Coiler.
I think they're going to pay for this, though. They're going to pay for this. Like, Widdowson should leak. Although, actually, his split is so insane. So, Widdowson's holding, actually.
Hey, look at Adamus Coiler, just didn't get aggroed. I don't know how this happened. Because usually the Coiler should die very early.
Wow, it's just a full hold on both of them.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And Ashton leaks to the double lizard as well. So, okay, we'll chalk that one up as a win for the Banana Boys.
So the thing is, up until now, Ashton was for sure in the driver's seat and for sure looking insane on this game. But now, Xcode is still behind in workers, right? He's behind in value. And we do have the banana, or maybe now around equal on value. But now we have Banana Boys pushing in workers, and they're now both going 14 workers, and now they're in the lead because this send was just a huge blunder.
Yeah, and any time that Xcode is bullied off of his treasure hunt is a win for the Banana Boys. So he's already low workers. Any time that he plays scared, like we saw on wave 6, any time that he's forced away from that treasure hunt is a win for Widdowson and Adams.
And even with the treasure hunt, right, there's one thing that is very crucial. If you build rats, the rats are around positive if a wave takes less than 70 seconds. I think it's like 73 seconds around that time. So especially when there's leaks or there's very long waves, the rats are getting worse and worse and worse, and the worker is going to produce Mythium even if you're getting sent and you don't have to overbuild. And with rats, you just don't treasure them. So every time you mention it, Xcode is not able to push them, and there's going to be long waves. Xcode is just going to lack a little bit of Mythium production due to the rats.
But Widdowson, actually, with his hard worker push, he's going to leak the no send here. This is so good for Widdowson.
Like, look at his Mythium. It's going to be 300 something on 10.
I mean, he can easily send Ghost Knight plus like 2 brutes or something, which is just going to be absolutely devastating for Xcode.
This league is perfect.
There's the Ghost
early
Knight.
game leagues, when you're in the worker lead and you don't give shutdown, are almost always like 100% hardcore worth it for you.
And Widdowson, he's only just about to hit his stride here because he hasn't got the Kingpins yet until now. So he's only going to get stronger and stronger as this game goes on. Now, this is an enormous send. It's 360 against Xcode. I'm sure we'll see the second brute joining the first. And even Ashton is getting a pretty big send to deal with from Adams as well. It's going to be Pack, Brute, Snail. I'm kind of worried for these guys.
Now there's one huge problem. Xcode once again, he has a Millennium on 10 and getting the Ghost Knight. And the problem is this time he showed the Millennium before. So the Ghost Knight was a safe bet for him. He only had the cat as
He's not going to kill it. He's not going to kill anything. This is going to be a massive leak for X-God.
Look at Ashton again. He's having the kingpin, right? He's having the backup archer, so he's at least going to hold his part of the lane.
That's big, but look at this. 122% on X-God.
That's crazy.
Wow. And Ashton's not going to be able to cover any of this.
Well, he's likely to get a Ghost Knight, which is fine. It's a lot of gold for them.
But look at this, though. And this time they don't have any king attacks, so this is a decent chunk of damage here. But more to the point, X-God is just falling further and further behind in this game.
But we have to mention that the same happened last time, and Ashton is still leading a lot in income. Look at this. He didn't take a spell yet, and he's ahead 50 income. This is a worker each wave. He can just push an extra worker each wave, plus having 22 workers.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. But what we have to get now is we have to see big leaks on the Banana Boys. Especially because Ashton has actually sent a non-income mercenary for the first time in his life. He's actually sent a Four Eyes here. So,
wait, what? Does he even know what this is?
I think he must have misclicked the Drake. Like, he wanted to click Drake twice.
Oh, double Drake, yeah.
Yeah, but he accidentally sent the Four Eyes. So we need to see a leak here, but Widdowson's on 1800 value with the villain on his Nightmare.
Yeah, but Adamus is very confident, not going for the Protector, which would be like the safest choice for him likely, but going for the investment. He knows, or he feels like they won't die here, and this way they're just going to go for it, not even going for king-ups.
Even
right?
with the investment though, even with the investment, Adams is still 50 income behind Ashton. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, and then on top of this, like, he's only getting income here, so they can now push once again. And since Adamus and Widdowson, they didn't waste anything in income king.
Yeah, but look at this.
They're
both just holding, and this was a full send from Ashton. Like, he actually went with the Four Eyes.
Yeah, Edgar not even trying, so that's fine. Adamus holding, but Widdowson obviously he received the 4-eye. But with a full gate, right? You have a lot of power. You have the villain, which is a massive source of damage as well for any wave following now. So
well, here comes the counter send though, and these are big sends. We've got Pack Leader Hermit from Widdowson, we've got Ogre Snail, and I assume that will be a brute to join that from Adams.
Yeah.
Ashton, like, obviously very strong on this wave, but he kind of needs to. Okay, he's going with the Chieftain here.
One thing I ask myself, and maybe he's
double hunting though. He doesn't expect it here. This might catch them by surprise.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, look at that. Adams was late on the dino there. Didn't get it out in time.
I mean, it's only 220 against Ashton, right? He does have his Kingpin, he does have the villain.
It should have been 300 though. Adams was a little bit slow on that dino.
Yeah. And
that's a hold then for Ashton.
Is using the Sea Dragons, which I really like, but I think he already does have a few too much, like 3 Sea Dragons, but he doesn't have a lot of targets to go for. Especially no high health targets.
Ashton?
What?
Oh, look at that. Literally the luckiest man alive.
This is crazy. Okay, so you do have now a few chances. Either we try to get X-God a bit more back to the game because he is quite cut off, and you try to maybe play for a shutdown. Widdowson is on right now. Maybe Adam's going. Yeah, Adam is going on shutdown now as well. And you try to play for late game because you do have this villain. But you have to be aware of the fact that Ashton and X-God, they don't really have this much scaling in their roles, right? While Widdowson at least has the gates, which is quite powerful maybe late game.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to finish rather early than late. And
I could see them going for a 15 send because from what we see on the board at the moment, like, sure, Adams has Iron Scales, but everything else is looking like really weak on 15 so far. Adams does have that Pocket Priestess, which could come out as a surprises area for a big hold on 15. But other than that, I think they're both looking pretty weak here on 15.
Will we just see the same again, right? Low king ups on Widdowson and Adamus, receiving a huge send this time. Even Ashton's send's going to be a lot bigger, already on close to 500. Maybe.
They have to go 15 though, right? They can't 14 against this with the villain doppelganger and the double kingpin on Widdowson. Surely not.
Well, the thing is, you will have X-God. Yeah, he might have to sell a bit for the Doomsday, but he's going to be okay on this wave, even though he's undervalued, but he does have the Doomsday, so overall, hopefully not leaking too much with the Sea Dragon heal.
Yep. Nobody sends.
Yeah. Ashton hasn't been too great on this wave though. Like he does have a lot of value in units you don't really want to have on the wave.
Yeah, true. Ashton obviously needs to have that Phoenix on 15. I'm just worried that it will tank too much like Adams did in the previous game.
I mean, it's getting the buff from the Chieftain at least.
Oh,
that's
okay.
already 1.3k extra. 1.5k actually. Extra health. So that's at least a bit.
But Xgod is not holding 15. There is absolutely no way. I wouldn't be surprised if he just pushes, honestly.
No. And Adamas, he does add 2 more Betchers, and he still does have this surprise area, in case he wants to go for it. Right? So
it has to be a 15 cent. It has to be. Widdowson has insane value. He's already over 3,000 here on wave 14. This has to be a 4-player send on 15.
What units, right? There's no arcane unit he does have. There's no unit with the perfect damage. Okay, there's the gates that have some magic damage, but it's still not the perfect setup we saw last game, right? He did have the gates as his best unit for the wave, or like the gargoyles, Green Devils.
Yep.
That's about it.
Well, here it comes. So we have Shaman, Witch, and a bunch of spam coming out from Ashton. We have the Shaman from Xgod. I assume he's saving up for a 4 eyes to go. Yeah, there's that Pocket Priestess coming in hot there for a dam. That's really big, actually. That might just save them here. That might just be a game winner.
Actually, what we didn't comment about before, except even going for the non Doomsday last wave, like that was so greedy. I think
he's got so many of these. Dead on 14. That's true. Ashton, I think, has a chance to hold here. A lot's going to depend on his Phoenix, I think.
Yeah, Adamas though, going for the Priestess that will not tank for sure, so he's going to rely on all the arcane tanks he does have in the backline and just hope his Assyrius is going to do enough damage.
Is on the Phoenix and it gets sniped out. Nice, okay, that's pretty big. Let's check in on Xgod. He looks like that's going to be a big leak on Xgod. Meanwhile, Adams, his Priestess, dishing out the damage, but not tanking as you say. I think it's going to be enough though.
Yeah, and Ashton's Phoenix died quite early, and this is GG.
Widdowson, big leak. Adams, yeah. Adams just holding long enough, but even then, they have like way more King HP, so even if it came down to a race, I think the Banana Boys would win here.
Ashton had to hold this one. His Phoenix died too early, and this is just the 1-1, and we see game number 3.
Game number 3. Well, pretty hyped, dude. we were hoping for a 3-game series, and we do have one. Banana Boys, congratulations, played this game much better, I think, in game number 2. They seem to be in control, like from start to finish, I'm going to say.
100%. You had this key wave 8 this time, where the long save from Xgod didn't work out against Adamas, right? He did try with Power Mercs, he tried the mole here, but he was just not leaking him, and afterwards just hard push.
We just got that killer blow on Xgod as well. And you have to say, like, a lot of it comes down to just sending a snail on one, you know? Like, it's honestly so bad for Xgod to leak 75% there and having double treasure hunt. Like, he just loses so much value. The wave takes forever. The pack rats are worth less than they should be. Like, that's just such a big win for the Banana Boys already on wave 1. Like, Xgod and Ashton, they have to fight uphill. And yeah, the Banana Boys just didn't give them any breathing room. Like Xgod, here we see on wave 6, he's scared off his treasure hunt, so he had both pack rats above ground while receiving only an income send. So Widdowson just kind of knowing that Xgod is going to on-hunt his rats, not going for a leak. But that's a win already because Xgod doesn't get any value from his rats, and he's on 3 workers at this point.
Yeah, there's like this worker play against Xgod with predicting when there's going to be treasure hunts and where you can stop him from treasure hunting was actually massive, and this way like determining how the early game goes, right? Because as you play against somebody with rats and you do those saves on waves where you usually would send him, but you just want to deny the pack rats for later waves, you will do huge damage to his early game.
And then we just saw the massive blow there, the 360 send on 10 against Xgod, which he leaked everything apart from 1 brute. That was pretty huge. And Xgod just had such a rough game this time around. Like, it's not necessarily his fault. Like, it's kind of pretty tough when you get snailed on 1 with your Windhawk pack rat start. But yeah, like he just had such a hard game this time around, and the Banana Boys absolutely punished him for it.
He definitely did. Like you mentioned it all. I think in the very end, if you're getting punished with reds perfectly, you do not stand a chance because reds are a lot more powerful if you can dictate how the early game goes. If you're the one in the driver's seat and can treasure hunt every time you want to, and you're not getting punished for it. But as you're getting punished for it more and more often, you can't treasure hunt. You're just gonna fall behind so hard because you lack those workers and you lack those consistent lithium production.
Yeah, exactly. And a bit of a masterclass there from the Banana Boys in how to punish pack rats. Just they didn't send every wave. They were kind of keeping X-God under pressure so that he was too scared to hunt. And then when they did send, it was just income and king. So even though he unhunted the rats to hold, it was just a waste of value for him. And I think really, really nicely played there from Wooders and Adams. So pretty solid.
Okay, so now we had two very vanilla games, right? In the first game, everybody tried to play like a solid performance to get this first win. Now we do have the tie with the match point for each of the teams. So now it's about, do we see some action? Do we see some changes in the playstyle? For example, we have Axcott and Ashen even going for an early game send with Power Mercs together. I don't know, maybe a 7 or a 5 with him, whatever. Fits the builds of the opponents, or will we even see Widdowson and Adamus going for a longer save? I think a 7 is quite popular for Widdowson.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on what kind of spells are in the game and what the roles the players have, because if you have one of those aggressive roles, it's more appealing to go for early game aggression. And if like this, so there's Lizard Army, which I think is not the best offensive spell. Let me just hop into the game there, and we have two pretty solid spells there with the Guardian Angel, one of the best buff spells, and Investment, of course, just a solid eco spell. So I don't know, there isn't really a big Wave 11, Wave 12 kill spell. Lizard Army, arguably, but I just don't think it's the best. I think the best way to use Lizard Army is to fake it.
I don't know, I actually like Lizard Army. Obviously a lot less now since games are more towards like late game, but I used to like Lizard Army a lot, especially a lot more than Overwork.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more versatile. You can fake it, you can play for any of the 3 waves or for even 2 of them, like an 11-13, or you could even take Lizard Army and then send 14 while your opponent's full build for this wave 13. So there's a lot of mind games around Lizard Army, which I really like, because in the very end, in a strategic game like Legion TD2, not showing your opponent what you're up to is like one of the most valuable resources you have.
Yeah, for sure. Now, everyone just 0 ball gameplay once again. 4 players picking
Ashen this time, going for the rats.
Yeah, but this is a safe rat start. They can't be punished with snails this time around.
Ooh, Widdowson, almost no pierce damage, only... Oh! There's a snail!
There is a snail against the Gate Guard there from Widdowson. And he does
did
not get the God
workers.
aggro.
He didn't put 4 to 5 workers, which is essential for him, because as he's leaking now, he's not having enough money with 5 workers to add anything but a few buses.
Yep.
So staying on 4 workers, playing it safe, quite the right approach for him.
Yeah, because if there's a resend and he went to 5 workers, it would be pretty dangerous for him. But like this, he's just completely fine.
He is. I think the league is okay for them, especially with the Adamus leading and workers once again, going for the Bone Crusher starts. And I think Bone Crusher still is one of the best openers you have in this game. It has always been, and it's probably always gonna be, because it's so versatile. You do have the other 2 upgrades just out of this one unit you build in the beginning, the Bone Warrior.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, worth pointing out that X-God decided to stay on 3 workers here. He is going for a steed, but he also adds the small angler as well, which I'm really not a fan of. I think if you want to play, Bounty Hunter Steed, which I mean, I'm already not a fan, let's be honest. But if you really want to play that, you only want 1 Bounty Hunter, because now you're spreading your mana between 2 units, and you just have 3 very weak units on the board, right? Because Bounty Hunter's weak, Angler's weak, Steed is weak. I just really don't like it.
Yeah, I really don't like it as well. And what I really dislike more is if you're already going first Angler, right? then please place it on wave 1 and take those 24 stacks for free and not like care about those 1 with the you might get faster with the worker push. Like this really even makes me more angry about this, because this is already a very conservative play. This is already a play you show your opponent, okay, I'm not really up to pushing a lot in the most cases, but then please take those extra stacks as well.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. We have Wilson. He's going to be completely fine here, of course, but we don't have sends from Ashton and X-God. There is a double snail coming out, but Ashton's going to have no problem with this whatsoever.
This could be very nice tanking later on, because you will have the Sea Dragon, first of all, healing either the Split or the Elite Archer, and then maybe tanking a bit from the Split on top. So I think this could be a very nice positioning for later waves. We will see in 4 probably how it will perform.
And we do have a decent send coming out now. So there's a Dino from Ashton going into a Dams. X-God, he does go for a Fiend rather than a Brute, okay. I mean, I can see it, although the Fiend will die fairly quickly against the Fire Archer.
Well, if he's adding a Snail, is that possible?
If he adds a Snail, it's good, because then the Fiend's going to go into the Bounty Hunter. He just doesn't have enough workers, right?
Well, I think you can either go for the Fiend, right, or for the Dragon Turtle Snail, but I think both options are not really gonna leak or make pressure against Widdowson, so I think he's just taking any of them.
Ashton did get the Snail out, which means the Dino's going to go into the Fire Archer of Adams, which is fantastic, because that's going to die very, very quickly. He's not getting any value out of that Fire Archer. And the Dino's also good DPS against the Devilfish.
And what is really, really rough now is X-God staying on 5 workers, right? He's building a second bounty, but now he's getting the Brute, he's leaking a bit here. It's not too bad, but
no! 92% on Adams. Not only does he not kill the Dino, but he also doesn't kill this chicken that he was focusing. So that's a really big leak there. While he was on 400 value, by the way. You cannot leak 90% when you're on 400 value on wave 4. That is
such an aggressive opener, right? He had everything to pop off this game, but then this one send now throws him behind by a lot.
Yeah, that's really, really bad for Adams, honestly. Like, he can't afford to be leaking that much when he's 400 value on wave 4. That's so big. And Ashton and X-God now in a really solid position, I think.
Yeah, and look at Adams' role. Like, what is this late game gonna look like? Tempest and Egg?
Yeah.
He does have a super cheap role. He has to play for the early game, right? If he's not gonna end wave 10 with a lead, with a massive lead, I think he's gonna struggle a lot in the later game. Especially with X-God having a role like Kingpins, then you get the value in the mid game, and then you have Halo Steed. So you don't want to face that in the late game.
Absolutely, dude. Now we do have a full send here against Ashton. There's Brute Snail coming out from Widdowson, and he's doing just fine.
Treasure hunting.
He even treasure hunts.
He's so disrespectful. He's just going for the treasure hunt. Like, he doesn't even give a shit. It's insane.
He's going to leak here, but it's only 2 creeps in a Brute. He's completely fine with that. Meanwhile, he pushes up to 8 workers. Ashton's on 7. Ashton goes for his income send here on 6. I really think that X-Crash are in a much better position this time than they were in game number 2.
They are, especially having a look at their rolls. Their rolls are looking a lot stronger than the rolls from, especially Adams. I think Widow does have a lot of potential. We see it here. There's 4 tier 6 units. It's super expensive.
That's such a greedy roll there from Mr. Widdowson.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, he does now have an answer for every early game wave, right? He's gonna receive the send now, so next on he's able to shift, then going for the bank on 8, should be fine there. Then maybe Haven on 10, which is likely because Bank and Harbinger should be able to cover 9. So he does have a solution for all the early game, starting to the mid game with a lot of strong units to Haven mainly. And then he can go either for XX, however the game goes, or he can already start with the gates. Like, I think he does have a lot of potential for a strong late game.
Yeah, for sure. Now we see X-God obviously was super weak on wave 6 until he popped out the Halo, which is his saving grace here. And he will still leak, but it's only a Brute and a Rocco. I think pretty much anything else he's going to be leaking half the wave there with his double bounty hunter start.
Yes, it is. Like, it's fine, right? He maybe just go for another steed, I guess. He could even Worker and Steed. I think I would like that a lot more. Worker and Steed.
Yeah.
He won't be able to go for 2 Steeds unless he's selling the poly and maybe sending a bit.
But he needs to start upping the stacks on those bounties, and he needs to get a big Kingpin out sooner rather than later, because he will start to fall behind again otherwise. There is a resend here from the Banana Boys, so let's see what Ashton and X-God do here. Ashton did push pretty aggressively, now on 11 workers.
Yep, there's a double Steed for Widdowson. We have Ashton going very aggressive, you said it before, and he's having a lot of bad units here, right? You do have the magic damage from the Sea Dragon, you do have 200 value in Buckler. So not a lot to shine here, and there's even Brutes being sent.
It's only 1 Brute each, though. They didn't have enough to send 2. Widdowson's pretty close there. He actually had 54 at the end of the wave, but the best he could manage was a Dragon Turtle. I think that's pretty good there for Ashton. He would have been in a lot of trouble versus 2 Brutes.
Now the Elite Archer not tanking enough, so the Sea Dragon is not going to hit it first. It's obviously a huge loss in effective HP. Obviously the cats can be healed, and as long as this is actually happening.
I think that's going to be a small leap there on Ashton, and if we just go back over to X-God's lane, he's actually doing fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's so good for them. Look at this Ashton, 13 workers, and he is hoping to leak here.
And I mean, look at this to the income send, meanwhile.
He's even leaking. This is so great for them.
X-God, can he get that Brute?
Oh, yeah.
No, he can't. Unlucky, man. But this is fine.
Look at this. Ashton once again doing Ashton things. I don't know how this happens, because Ashton seems to always do fine, obviously pushing aggressive, but somehow looking at him on wave like 6 or 7, he's always suddenly far ahead.
Yeah. Now there's more sends coming out, so the Banana Boys, they're not going for any early game pressure really. They just want to income scale, and they're certainly achieving that.
I think this is because of the Kingpins, right? You often get into this trap where you know that your opponent's having Kingpins and he probably won't upgrade it now, so you try to like use this few weak waves you do have in the early game, which is basically any wave where you do have a Bounty Hunter is a weak wave for you.
X-God's even going for another angler here. I'm really not a fan of that. I just want to see him get that Kingpin's power spike online so he can actually start to press the worker button.
Yeah. This is actually crazy. I don't know, like this is looking so good for X-God. For Ashton.
Yeah, Ashton, he gets another resend here. He can just push even more workers. He's not under any pressure on 9, where he was otherwise looking quite weak. And even more, a Damned is leaking again to the income resend.
920 value.
That's crazy, yeah. 900 value, leaking 40% versus only income send there from Ashton. This is really, really solid.
But he did have a Seraphim, right? I think he should definitely swap that one for a Devilfish, because he does have enough damage with the Leviathans and the Tempest.
True.
It's still, it sucks so hard. 920 value. Yes, you don't have the best units for the wave, but you're not
He's
really
so greedy.
awful. At least. Ooh.
Would you please just make the Kingpin? Can you stop being the greediest man alive?
I mean, it's full stack right now. That there's no reason why you should now not go for the Kingpin unless you want to reduce the shutdown, right? It's actually the only reason to not go for the Kingpin here is to stay on lower shutdown.
Yeah. This is so now he does get a resend as well from Madam's. X-God can finally press the worker button.
Oh! Look at this! Ashton sending a Brute.
Oh wow! He must have slipped.
Yeah. Once again, misclicking. He wanted to hit the 3rd Dragon Turtle, and then oops.
But Adam smelled it coming. He actually hardened a Mudman here on wave 9.
Yeah, because he's so bad on the wave, and he's still leaking, even though he hardened. And this is not going to help him out in 10, right?
True.
Ashton, 18 workers. He's just not stopping, right? He's getting income sends all the time while having a really good roll. Adam is still not having a great roll. I don't know if he rerolled or not.
Adams will hold this
just
though.
Free pushing.
Adams is
this
holding.
Is the first game. Sorry, what? Adams rerolled?
No, Adams is holding here. But meanwhile, X-God has a very dangerous amount of Mythium saved up, nearly at 280 here. Yeah. There's the Ghost Knight.
And that's exactly what I just wanted to say. We had the first 2 games, X-God twice being behind while Ashton being really fat. But this time, even X-God is really solid in the game, like even strong, you can say. And hey, Ashton's just miles ahead, right?
Yeah, Ashton is doing incredibly well this game. 18 workers on wave 10. His income is just miles ahead of all the other players in the game. And there might even be big leaks coming out here from Widdowson and Adams. Widdowson going for a
does not have
second
any
bunk.
sort of damage. No chance. He had to shift for the Haven for this wave. There's no chance to hold like this. Without the Haven, he won't hold. I mean, he does have a backline there. Fine. There's no chance.
He's going to leak really big here on Mr. Widdowson. I think he'll count himself lucky if he kills that Ghost Knight, but I'm not sure that he will.
Oh, I think he will. There's still the Asaria living right in the bank.
Yeah, he just gets it there with the split tanking on the Avenger and the Harbinger, but this is still a massive leak there. The boss is over half HP, and the Hermit, 75% there for Widdowson. Adams did hold his send, but he's not going to kill anything in the mid. This will be some decent king damage.
We mentioned before, Widow's roll is extremely expensive, right? And if you then are in a position to undercut his natural OP early game that I mentioned before, right? Going for the bunk on 8, then shifting on 9 for the Haven on 10, which is a very strong like following on units, right? If you get this out, the bunk on 8, perfect, you have this power spike, you can push some, shift some, boom, Haven on 10, and then you're basically strong on 10 and 11 and 12, so you have this long period of waves where you're just really OP. But as you are not able to follow these steps, you're just sitting in a situation like we had Widdowson now, being behind, leaking wave 10, and not being amazing on future waves.
And Ashton, if you just look at the power scores there, he is absolutely miles ahead in this game now. He's 400 power score ahead of both of the Banana Boys. He's on fire. The only reason his shutdown isn't bigger, I think, is because X-God is behind. But
X-God upgraded the second Kingpin, so next wave X-God should be on shutdown as well.
Exactly. X-God is just coming into his power spike here. It's not like the previous game where he was behind without really any like big power spike coming up. He has that Kingpin value kicking in, and he's now going to be able to push hard as soon as the next send comes.
Yes, 100% agreed. X-God even rerolled already, getting the Rangers, even more late game power for him. The only thing I don't like is him swapping for the Banana Bunk. He did have flowers in his role, which are the perfect add, especially for 16, where his build is weak, and afterwards, after 16, he's OP anyway. Now swapping away the flowers, I think the flowers are going to help you for this one specific wave, which is 16, and then afterwards you just don't care anymore because you have Halo, Steed, and Ranger, right? But
yeah.
I would have kept the flowers, personally.
But both Banana Boys going for an egg there on wave 11, and there is a send coming out here on wave 12.
No, the debuff. Somebody didn't calculate the values correctly. Lightfinder is not a unit you should place next to an alpha male.
But can the Banana Boys hold here? We do have a Sovereign upgrade there for Widdowson. With Guardian Angel, by the way.
Okay, so there's a question.
And a Harden on the
Don't you rather go for the Haven here, because you can still go for the Sovereign next wave? Like, is Sovereign with GA better than the Haven?
I mean, Sovereign with J is pretty insane. We'll see now when it comes back to life, because it gets all of the health from that mana, so it's going to respawn, and it's already at 3.5k instead of the 1500 that GA normally respawns with.
Makes sense.
But
he's still gonna lose his exec, he's not quite holding.
Oh, he actually leaks himself. I thought Widdowson would at least hold his own lane there and then lose his egg versus a Dam's leak. But no, he's also leaking himself.
This 240 cent would be a hold with a Haven.
Yeah, for sure.
I assume.
100% it would be, yeah. But I can respect him going for the Sovereign as well. Meanwhile, though, the Banana Boys, look at this Mythium they have saved up. So sure, they leak here, they lose their eggs, but their counterplay is coming up soon, and it's going to be big.
It's like, it is a counterplay, right? But it's kind of their last chance, right? This next all-in send has to work out, either giving them a lot of gold or even being the lethal send of this game, because we do have Ashton with this amazing scaling, right? He has doubled the income of Widdowson, almost doubling the one of Adams as well. He does have strong roll. X-God is having a insane crazy scaling roll for the late game. So as it's not gonna be finished, the next send, which is maybe 14, might have been the goal, maybe 15 now with Aviator showing X-God showing the Avature. That's not lethal, that's it.
I have to say though, Ashton, he's looking pretty damn weak on 14, right? Like, sure, he has one Trinity Archer, but all of his other units are just garbage on 14. He's got so much natural HP. He's even got the double upgraded Lifebinder there, which is terrible on 14.
But the thing is, you don't care, right? You could now just income King. X-God is having the Avenger on 14 together with Steeds. You do have 2 Kingpins on X-God, almost full stacked. So
here
just income King, you survive and you win, right?
Here come the sends from the Banana Boys, and the X-Crash, they know it's coming, they go for the send of their own. X-God actually going for a full send while Ashton takes his income as normal. We'll have to see if it's going to be enough for him to hold here.
I'm actually unsure if 14 is a better send than 15. I mean, I can see, especially with the Lifebinder, right? You do want the Lifebinder to...
I think against Ashton it's better. Against Ashton it's better, but like you say, X-God is just so strong on wave 14 with the Sovereign upgraded, with the GA Kingpin, with the Steeds as well to throw mana into the Sovereign. I think X-God is just looking really strong here. Ashton might leak. Yeah. And the sends are huge. There's 700 against X-God, there's 680 against Ashton. I expect the Banana Boys to be just fine here. But let's keep an eye on Ashton and X-God, because this is pretty important now, whether or not they're able to hold.
Oh, we have the Lifebinders not getting... Oh, now there's a target with the Lioness coming back from the GA, but Ashton, he is doing okay, I guess. Actually, there's a lot of low targets. So it's fine.
And he is on shutdown, so that's 100 gold there for the Banana Boys.
But who cares? Look at X-God, right?
X-God leaks too, and no, he just leaks the 4 eyes on 2% there.
Yeah, but let's be honest, right? This is definitely not as much as they needed, the Banana Boys.
No.
We have Ashton being so far ahead.
They wanted to get some serious damage in here.
He's 100 ahead in income of Widdison. He does have 800 more value. Like, X-God with the OP roll. How do you turn this?
I feel like this is pretty tough now for the Banana Boys. They're going to have to pull out something quite special, I think, if they want to win this game. Whereas Ashton, with his insane value, with his insane income, like you say, he's just in a really solid position.
And now, especially Egg from Adamus, right? What is this mission with the X-Egg? Because you can't win a 20 race. There's no chance, because you won't league X-God. There's no chance of killing X-God in 20. Right? So
neither of them have a unit to kill wave 20, right? Yeah.
Like, you basically have to finish like 19. I think 19 is like the last chance you could actually do something, because 18 the haters are just too strong, 17 is too close, not enough send, I assume. And there's the Kingpins, and they're still quite strong on 17 with the Sex. What are you going for?
I don't know, man. And even on 19, I think X-God can be really strong, because he's going to have 3 Kingpins, all with like pretty much full mana. He even has that Haven in his role, which the Banana Boys don't know about yet. But if they want to go for a 19 win, I think they might be frustrated when they see X-God pulling out the Haven. And look at this, Ashton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rats. So on top of him having 20 workers, he doesn't need to. He already has like this tied with the first place workers on Widdison, and he also has 10 rats on top, so that's another 110 Mythium every wave on top of what Widdison is generating.
What Ashton did is just so clever. He did not push a single worker after this massive send on 18, and now just hitting the double workers, he pushed from 18 to 20 worker, investing 50 gold. While that, he just built a lot of rats, and he is now able to just treasure hunt them every time he knows that they're not in danger of dying. And then when the time comes where he thinks, okay, maybe they're going to have their big attack now, we need every support we can get, he's just taking the extra 500 value and just easy holding.
Yeah, true. And when do you think they want to send? I think wave 18 could be a really good call against Widdison and Adams. I don't really see them having much chance to hold there.
Well, to be honest, they could even just go for full income King. Unless there's an undercut on 19, there's no chance, because X-God is always holding. Adams has no chance for the late game at all. So, and Widdison is not having the best scaling as well, right? Just get this after 19 and you win.
True. And Ashton, he knows the Sen's not coming on 17, so he goes for another 10 rat hunt there.
This is so crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, with the Ashton now having more Mythium than Widdison and Adamas that actually have to go for this massive attack. Like they could really go for this 18 cent. You named it, especially Adamas looking awful there.
Oh, Adam's even hardens here.
Oh no! They have to mirror now, right? They have to send 18 now because Adamas is so weak, just to stand the chance to survive.
Yeah. I feel like
Ashton
this
could basically income.
I feel like this is over. Like Ashton and X-God, they can just easily win on 18. Adams just has no chance to hold.
Yeah. Well, they can either try to win like they do with Ashton going for the Shaman and Ram, but Ashton could even send 8 Cannoneers.
Yeah.
Likely would league Adamas and then would just scale so hard for the later waves. There's not a lot of waves to come, but he's gonna be amazing on those.
But Ashton's going to be like overvalue as well. All he needs to do is not treasure hunt his rats, and his value is going to be off the charts.
Yeah, he does have the gate with the life binders, so he basically has a chance to get unlimited summons.
True.
That's fine. What do you need? What else do you need? He does have the 2 lioness that can profit from the life binder, a lot of effective HP they would get, and I mean. X-God, he does have the double Arc of Justice with, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 Pegasus, 2 Steeds, 3 Dark Mages.
And around 1 million Bone Warriors as well, just to tank the wave. But the Centaur is coming out from Adams, but I just think that X-God and Ashton are just too strong here. Look at this. Ashton is 175 overvalue. All he needs to do is not send those rats underground. And I just think Adams has absolutely no chance to hold. He even suicide pushed, actually. He knew that he had no chance after hardening those golems on 17, so he went for the full push. But I think it's not going to be enough. I think the Banana Boys are going to end up dying here.
Look at Ashton. The wave is just melting. He does still have thousands of value over. Except actually... oh no, he's holding as well. Maybe just not holding, even though he had a very small for the wave.
Ashton's holding very, very easily. Actually, Widdison does hold, but is it going to be enough? Because this is a big leak from Adams there.
Even if it's enough, is the GA still there?
It's not going to be enough, right?
No.
They have no king upgrades. This is game over.
Yeah.
X-God and Ashton defeating the Banana Boys here in the semi-finals.
Yeah, and I think they had a really good performance, right? Even in the game they lost, they did a quite well performance up until this wave 8. Yep. Where they kind of blundered their big ascent in the early game.
Yeah, let's just have a quick look at that wave 8. So we'll scroll back through the waves there. Wave 8.
Oh, no, it was last game. Last game,
yeah. So even in this game, I thought you were talking about the income sends, because Ashton was just leaking Adams every wave with income. Like, he sends Cannoneer, Dragon Turtle on 7, that's a leak. He sends Dragon Turtles on 8, that's a leak. He doesn't get him on 9, but he just keeps sending that income every single wave. And Ashton is so far ahead in workers, in income, by the time wave 11 comes around. Gets another big leak on 12, breaking both of the eggs of the Banana Boys. And then obviously he's able to like near enough hold against the 680 send on wave 14. Same with X-God against the 700 send, and the game's just over at that point. There's pretty much no coming back at it once they're able to like survive that massive all-in play. Yeah.
I mean, all those income sends just enabled Ashton, right? If you want one thing, you don't want an enabled Ashton Butcher, because his role can be of super low synergy, but somehow he's still going to pop off with this insane income snowballing, and then she's just miles ahead. And even though if you have no synergy in your role, just value can be enough in certain situations. And
he was getting so much value out of those rats as well. Wave 15, 10 treasure hunts. Wave 16, 10 treasure hunts. Wave 17, 10 treasure hunts. Wave 18, rats above ground, easily holding the send.
It's executed perfectly, right?
Yeah.
You see it here. Wave 14, actually, he has less value in 15 than he does have in 14 because he had 2 reds. He was specialing then, but this is just perfect. He's not pushing a single worker, right? This is the time to not be greedy. There's those trigger compilations from Counter-Strike where people are sneaking behind others to get the second kill out of it. And this is exactly a comparison to this, right? Be patient, this one wave, right? Don't push, but get those rats. You will lose like 30 seconds of Mythium production, but You keep calm, you take those reds for 3 consecutive waves, and then you just take the value when you need it. It's
Yeah,
just
it was just an easy hold for him there on wave 18. I think that was extremely well played there by Ashton. And XGod, of course, played his part as well, enabling Ashton super hard throughout the game.
crazy.
And this was just really well played. So yeah, the Banana Boys are out in the semi-finals, and X Crash will advance into today's grand final. So
One last thing I want to say on this game, like either Adamus rerolled in wave 1, or he actually never rerolled. And if he never rerolled, this was a huge mistake because the roll's really not looking great. So I think he probably rolled on wave 1 and he just wasn't blessed with a great roll. He does have to finish this game early with his roll, actually.
Yeah,
you can't scale.
No, agreed. And meanwhile, obviously, we saw that Ashton had insane scaling, and XGod as well, with the Halos, with the Sovereign, and the Steel. So they had pretty insane late game, and they just were able to steer this one to a victory. So well played, X Crash. I think we probably should have a quick break just to let the teams kind of relax and boil some steam before we get into the grand finals. Maybe I can message a couple of the players now.
Do we have any information about the other game? Like, are we?
I can see that they're not in game, so they must have won.
I'm looking up the match history just now. Okay, I know the result. I don't know if you want to know it on the stream or if you want to wait a bit.
Okay, XGod's saying he needs 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's actually interesting. Who do you think who won?
I just whispered Kingdan saying, "Do you need 5 minutes?" And he says, "It's not us playing."
Well, apparently you know. XGod, Aviat and SSP winning first and third game. Twice on 16 and taking down King Dance and Boo Boy. Wow, King Dance actually played YOLO the first 2 games.
Insane. Fair play, King Dance. You know, he has got those balls that some of the other players don't, and you have to respect it. Even if it ends up not securing the victory, like sometimes you just have to be fair play. You know, you're not playing scared.
No. Like even being down 1 game, second game he's starting again with a YOLO. That's crazy. Now we do have the current Nova Cup reigning champions playing against the champions of the first Nova Cup. So the first 3 Nova Cups are only having 2 winner teams, and we'll now see which one it is for the third one.
Yeah. And it's super interesting because we actually said this before any of the games started. We said that we had January winners, we had the February winners, and now there is going to be a playoff between the 2 teams to see who is the best Nova Cup player so far, because only one team can have 2 victories, and it's going to be either SSP and Aviator, this is fine, or X Crash, XGod and Ashton. So that's going to be a super exciting matchup, I think.
Yeah. And even though there's so many Germans around, there's actually no German in those teams, right?
I mean, I don't think there's any good players from Germany, no? I can't think of any.
I know there's like this huge carry machine everybody knows about.
Oh, Basti, of course, yeah. Basti, Basti for sure, the best German player, yeah, without a doubt. But guys in chat, I think we're going to have a quick break here before we get into the grand finals. It's going to be around 10 minutes for the players there, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the grand final. So we've got an exciting show still to come, guys. We will see you right back here in around 10.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna get like a snack and a water real quick. See you. everyone. Welcome back.
Mr. Bonny, hello, how are you?
Great.
Alright, guys
Excited.
in the chat. I'm excited as well. We've got a hell of a match in store for us today. So this is going to be the grand final coming up now. We have got, this is fine, of course, SSP Aviator versus X-Crash, which is X-God and Ashton Butcher. As we said before, this is the winners of the January Cup versus the winners of the February Cup. So everything to play for here in March. Who is going to be the first and only team to win 2 Nova Cups?
It's interesting. Like, I'm really not prepared for this matchup. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it's gonna be the 2 teams that now didn't make it are gonna play the finals today, but
like we said, right? Like any of the 4 teams was good enough to make it to the finals, was good enough to win the thing. I think everyone was just so closely matched. I couldn't have called it either way, and I think this is just going to be a super high finals, regardless.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward, especially like with the performance we saw yesterday from SSP and Aviator on yesterday's stream. It was an amazing matchup. We just had Ashton Butcher and X-God showing us a different play style than Widdowson and Adamis, where Ashton Butcher is definitely the high pusher, the high carry. While both of the others try to like be equally strong in the game. But now with SSP and Ashton facing each other, they both have this very similar hardcore carry playstyle, while Aviator, though, in tournament and competitive games, is always shifting towards more of a team-oriented, longer saves in the early game, and basically sending together as a team right from the beginning on.
I mean, you say that, but as far as I can tell, he's also a giga tryhard on the ladder as well. Like, he doesn't just save this stuff for the tournament games.
Yeah, but Aviator is sometimes having the days where he's just liking to income, to like full income, and obviously it works out a lot for him. But sometimes it's just feeding as well.
True. But guys,
it's very not often though.
Without any further ado, here we go. We are into the grand finals. Let's get the games underway.
Oh, and there it is, Battle Scars. You named it before. You like the spell. You think
I really like the spell.
Actually, very strong. So let's see.
I think it's great, especially on things like Phoenix. I think it's insane. It's also good on Mudman, just because bonus HP plus Harden equals good. It's good on Havens as well, which Ashton has. So I think everyone has. X-God doesn't really have anything in his role for Battle Scars so far, but all of the other players have solid options to go for that Battle Scars if they want to.
Yeah, I'm just having a quick look over the rules. We have SSP, Cat, Windhawk, Polywalk. Very nice opener. We commented on that before. And then he does have this option of scaling going towards LOD APS with Mudmans. I think this is like a very well-rounded role already. I think it's actually going to be exactly that role. Yep, exactly. That's the role he's taking. I think that was quite a safe bet. Aviator's role is looking very interesting as well. He did dodge the cannon that is preferred by a lot of players for aggressive early game. He did have the cat, which makes a nice synergy, but he's more likely to play the Assyria, which is a very strong and skilled opener as well. Yeah. And treasures on Ashton. Which is something different to some of his 5-worker openers, but we saw it in the last matchup already that Ashton likes to go for the level 1 treasure hunt these days. Yeah. First of all, this. Yeah, but second, we have X-God with almost the same role as he had last game, right? He does have Anglers, he does have Steeds, he does have Halo, and he's just doing it again. No.
I know it worked out for him last time around, but actually this is kind of... Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this.
I mean, at least SSP is saving, right? And this is the key now, because now you're in the spot of X-God where you have to stay 3 workers until you get the send.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's like having not perfect amount of gold, so you can either go for like a Steed and an Angler, or you can go Worker instead, and you probably push. But in most cases, this is just gonna be a 3-worker game for X-God until he's getting the send, and it's gonna be at least 80 for an upcoming wave already. So there's a lot of pressure against him.
This is... Yeah. I mean, he's staying 3 workers, which is fine. And it does mean that he should be able to hold this end when it comes.
Defeat? Is it good? I don't know. I mean, if he is getting the steed?
He goes for another steed. I think he's going to be okay. I mean, his value is just insane, right? He's on 365 value. Only an income send. Oh, he actually goes for the Seraphim even instead of the extra steed, which is very, very strong. I think it should be okay.
I think he did it because of 4, right? You kind of go for the Seraphim to be better on 4.
Yep.
I think it doesn't really matter whether you go Seraphim or Steed on wave 3, but especially on 4, Seraphim or maybe a Devilfish, however you would change it, is a lot stronger there.
The Seraphim is just so strong on 3. I mean, look at this. It 2-shots the wave. It also, like, 2-shots whenever the Bounty Hunters hit something. It's just an easy hold here for X-God. Now he can press the worker button.
Yes, and same as with SSP, right? He does have a very strong opener. He already has the 4 stacks in the cat, so in theory he could go for another worker and then get just stack number 5, or he wants to shift a bit and get the Violet next.
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't send, and that's why he can't go for the next worker. Oh no! What? She just did a stack number 6. He could have done the Violet next.
So he won't be able to get that Violet now. But there is a send coming, though. So he's kind of rewarded. But like you say, that stack number 6 is just completely unnecessary. It doesn't really help you at all, because the 5-stack cat is already 2-shotting the wave, right?
You just get this extra 300 HP that you get with, or 280 HP you get with each stack, but that's about it. You don't get additional damage because you do 2-shot the wave anyway with 5 stacks. So it's not needed, and you could shift it for the Violet and 5.
But he's just rewarded here by the double snail send. Like, if Ashton saved here, SSP could have been punished pretty badly on 5 by not being able to afford that Violet.
Yeah, that's true. And we just saw that SSP in the end had 750 HP left over on the cat, so the 280 he did get additional with the stack didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
It was just a safe shift.
Yep. X-God is on 5 workers here. He does go for the second Bounty Hunter. I think he should be fine against the 100 send from SSP, because the Seraphim is just insane single target damage against the Scorpion.
It does. And what I really do like we talked about it before, like the opener is quite slow, and going for extra angler is like gonna deny a lot of stacks possible. Yep. But even though he is a bit far behind, or a bit more behind in workers, he does already have the 75 stacks on both of the anglers or bounty hunters. So he's already quite decent in the stack game.
But at some point, though, he's going to need to shift for that Kingpin. Now, the problem is, if he goes for it, like, you can't really shift on 6 because bounty hunters are just super weak on 6. But he's also looking...
Chance, right?
He's also looking pretty bad on 7, right? So if he doesn't shift...
He just had a send, right?
He's even going for another angler. I don't like this at all. I think he's so weak on 7 like this.
What does he want to do on 7? Yeah, he has to shift here. There's no other...
Yeah, if he doesn't have that Kingpin on 7, he's just dead, right?
Yeah, he can still go for the Halo, but it's still 200 gold. It's not that easy. If you build the angler, you don't even get the Halo. But the Kingpin is going to be close now.
Alright, so he does shift. He will be rewarded. Is anybody leaking here? I assume no. I think everyone's going to be just fine. There was an income send against SSP. He's fine.
He was just so greedy. We didn't see that one. After him getting an income send on 5, I think it was, going 9 workers, because he does have those ads, right? He does have the mask and the cat, so he's definitely fine on wave 7 and 8. He's likely fine on 6 as well, because he just received the send and can't get a lot. I think X-God could have sent close to 60. I'm not sure if there was a 60 possibility for wave 6.
Yep.
And this way, maybe they're just being safe on so many waves, so many consecutive waves, and now he'll be able to get the mask, and then boom.
X-God is 14 gold short of that Kingpin. Is he going to sell the steed here? Oh, he goes for the Halo.
This is such a rough spot now, right? Because he does have to do the Halo, but then he still has to get those 250 gold another wave.
Yeah. I don't even know that he holds here with the Halo. Like, the rest of his units are so bad for Wave 7. Even though it's only 120 cents. Let's find out, because I think this could even be a leak with 800 value.
Yeah, this is great.
And meanwhile, look at the worker situation. SSP and Aviator both on 10, while Ashton and X-God are still stuck on 6 workers.
Ashton Butcher, 6 workers. This is like 100% the opposite of the last game, right?
It's unheard of. Like, Ashton's
he's
never been on 6 workers.
Oh no!
Oh man!
It's not leaking as well. Being short, it was a safe bet to sell the steed. But this is now 14 gold short, bad leak as well. This is gonna be king damage with a brood.
Luckily the damage is not too bad, because Ashton did deal a lot of damage against the Mimic, but look at this. 24 gold on that Mimic. Aviator getting some serious value out of that, with Ashton going for all of those rats and gargoyles to try and be able to hold Wave 7. Didn't work out for him, only giving more gold over to the side of Aviator.
The worst part about all this is that the whole time, now the long leaks, even though the leaks weren't too big, SSP and Aviator have been 5 worker ahead, right? And this was a long wave. The wave was really long.
Yeah.
So Ashton and X-God, they're really cut off a lot of resources, especially income that usually Ashton is gonna scale with a lot. And look at this, X-God 59 income.
Yeah, Aviator massive. 117. He has double the income there.
Yeah. And this is now all about this mid-game power spike X-God will have, right? As soon as you upgrade your first Kingpin, as soon as you get the second especially, you will have those few waves up until 14 where you're really gonna be strong. Like, even on 13 with a Halo, you should be alright. But then in this time, the problem is you could either push, but with the role of X-God, you will have to go for the attacks. So as you don't manage to like keep up round about the workers and values with SSP and Aviator, you will fall so far behind that even your massive late game role won't matter too much.
That resend on 8 was a bit of a lifeline for Ashton. He was able to push a couple of workers off there. He is able to double hunt again here on Wave 9 because he's not under any pressure. But meanwhile, SSP, he is stockpiling that Mythium.
Well, I'm just unsure. I needed a second to look at Aviator's role wave, because he wasn't able to get the Asteria out, so he decided for the Millennium. I think this could have been quite big of a league against him.
Well, X-God doesn't have that much Mythium. He's only on 8 workers, remember, because he still doesn't have the Kingpin, and he's just not really putting on that much pressure. Like, Aviator can read the board, he knows that X-God doesn't have that much workers, and he can just be a bit more aggressive because of this.
Maybe I overestimated the descent from X-God. But now
SSP
there's
actually
gonna be
on fire here. SSP on
so
fire, Wave
easy.
9.
They just go for this income sense because they don't care, right? They don't need to prove anything. They can just go for the income sense. They know they're far ahead.
Yeah.
This
there
is
might
massive.
be shutdowns here on 10 though. Both Aviator and SSP are on 25 gold bounties, and there are full sends coming out from X-God and Ashton. So we might be able to get a bit of a leak out here. There is, of course, the Trinity Archer there from SSP, which is very, very solid, but his tanks are not the best.
And all of this, obviously we will have big sends on 10, and we do have likely a shutdown, but everybody's sending on 10, so the chance of taking Venture is quite high for a lot of those players. Which is
just
always
look at
interesting, because
the
usually...
income, man!
This is... What? SSP? Dude, when do you stop to income send? I mean, it's Aviator on your team that is known for his income pressure.
Well, he just gets the pack leader there for SSP. That's pretty nice. It is a shutdown, and Aviator as well, so that is 50 gold going over for the side of Ashton and X-God. That helps.
This is actually a problem now, because usually shutdown is not mattering too much in the mid and late game, but that early into the game, I mean, 10 is still quite early in the current meta, that tends to go at least to 50. It's gonna matter a lot, and especially with X-God's role that is going to scale. Now he does have the Kingpins, he does have the X-Sack, he does have the Venture potential. I think this is just really helping them, and now XGod might be in a situation to come back quite hard. Venture, Exec, with those Kingpins, he is in a really good spot now to come back and actually take a lead.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Now we see Aviator and SSP. They are still ahead on the power scoreboard, but they're no longer on fire. So they have closed that gap there with the leaks on 10, with the shutdowns, and with the King damage. Ashton and XGod, they were very far behind, and they still are, don't get me wrong. Like, they still have fewer workers by quite some margin. They have way, way less income.
Okay. And now there's this one thing. Usually you are able to like not see what spell your opponents took. In this game, you will definitely see what spells are taken by everyone, because you do see the movement on the health bar if somebody's taking Stadia, right?
Yeah.
Both teams had lost some HP before. You will see next wave, you will see the battle scars. So Venture is the last possibility, but obviously since you want to undercut Venture, you would have to decide now. So the battle scars could still be an option when you have to decide.
Now they see XGod's egg. Is he going to lose the egg, though?
Leaking. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
Oh, XGod. Oh,
This is
no.
such a disaster.
That's really
What
bad.
happened here, though?
Really bad. I mean, he just didn't
Halo
have the
died.
value, right?
No, you know what happened?
The Halo died straight away, yeah.
No, he sold the polywalk because I think he thought he can venture up to 115 gold, but it got changed, right? And he had 108 gold, sold the polywalk because I think he wanted to get his extra venture and therefore killed the Halo.
Oh, XGod, oh no. That's such a costly mistake there. Losing his egg on 2 stacks. Man.
But he had the chance to come back so hard, and now
Yeah.
he's just staying on 10 workers for an insane amount of time, and he's not able to get another egg down because he doesn't have money.
There are income sends here. He does have enough money for a second egg if he wants one. He does go
true,
for it.
because of sending, yeah.
He does go for it. Oh no, he doesn't. He changes his mind.
Yes, no, yes, no.
He's playing bait the casters again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's.
He does go for it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. He does have to change this one though, right?
He's
Dosage over.
he's only getting an income
He's not-
send.
he's
I
not
think
looking
he might
great.
be okay.
I don't. I mean, what does he get? He gets a double Drake snail. The rest of the spells. I mean, we have to think about it. Out of this value XGod has, he does have 1.8k, let's say, and then out of those 1.8k value he does actually have without the exec, there's still 150.
He's fine.
Value just stacks.
He's totally fine here. It's kind of close on the Kingpin,
It is close.
but I think he's okay. Yeah, he is. And
Well,
Ashton,
it
of course,
shouldn't be
falls.
much more. It shouldn't be much more.
Oh, the Kingpin does die.
Oh no.
Oh.
One Drake might not die, right?
Oh, is he going to lose another egg? Is he going to lose another egg?
That's so close.
No, it's so. I think the Halo's got this.
Whew.
Wow,
Got it.
that was XGod, my man. You were going to be. If he loses another egg there, it's just game over. No, XGod, no.
What?
He's playing bait the caster. He's playing bait the caster. There's no
Caster, right.
way. There's no way he does 3 eggs here. He just loses all 3.
Yeah, of course. This would be huge int. Okay, like there's this one situation where this is a.
He's playing bait the casters.
Why?
Can you make this a devilfish? He can.
Those
He's
eggs are
going
gonna
to
die, right?
75 gold. I mean, he might be okay. He's got decent tank value. I think he
this
should
is
have
his
spent the
damage.
75.
Right? This
Yeah.
one Halo is his damage.
And he even built another bounty hunter here, which is taking mana away from the Halo. I think he's okay against no send.
Oh yes, he still does have the Kingpin. Yeah,
He's okay. That's kind of
hold.
rewarded there, I think, for the greed. But if he had gone for 3 eggs, I think he definitely loses all 3 of them.
Okay, now I think we have focused a lot on XGod. We have Ashton going for the 5 Reds treasure hunt on this wave 13, on top of getting this nice and juicy 300 gold from the venture.
And he hunts
going
them
for
again?
treasure hunt once again. Nice. That's lovely.
XGod surely has to go for another Kingpin here. No, he says no. He's going for the Lord of Death. But I would prefer that he just hide that, honestly. Like, he can just make the Kingpin here to be safe on this wave where he has an egg, and then just throw up a surprise Hades for 15, right?
Let's be honest, he has to sell his Devilfish, right? There's a Devilfish taking the Butcher and the Lion spot.
He'll have to sell it at some point.
Go for the LOD there.
I mean, I'm sure he knows what he's doing, but I would have much preferred a Kingpin here rather than the Lord of Death. Because he could have just shifted to get the Hades anyway, right?
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter. Like, you probably don't even need the Hades for 15 with your value. I think there's no real need for the Hades. You can just go for the Arc of Justice and then a Pegasus as well. Should be fine.
But Ashton now starting to take over the income. He is doing Ashton things once again. So it is worth pointing out that SSP and Aviator continue to save. They both have already 340 Mythium each. And whenever they decide to send, because it's not 15, this is going to be pretty dangerous, right?
16, right? It kind of has to be 16. You do have this weaker wave for Xcode on 16. Maybe this is why he already targets the Hades, because Hades is at least one of the best units he does have for 16, together with the Linus.
Yeah, I think it will be 16, but I think Xcod's value is just going to be through the roof there. I don't see him leaking.
Xcod's value is going to be insane on 16. On top of this, Ashton, look at Ashton. I mean, if he's not OP on 16, I don't know what build will be. Like, he's having Orchids, he's having Varks, he's having Ranger, he's having Coil. Like, what else do you want here?
And remember, he still has 5 rats underground as well, so if he ever feels threatened, he just needs to keep them above ground to fight, and he's going to be completely fine just with insane amounts of value on the board.
Yes. And those rats are going to give Ashton so much Mythium on top of the worker that are close to the ones SSP has.
Yeah.
Like, we can see it. We just had a massive lead on Aviator and SSP, and now the lead is getting closer and closer every time a wave ends, because there's this massive amount of...
But everybody saves. Everybody saves. There's no 16 cent coming out from any of the players. I guess...
The longer they save, the more Xcode is going to be in the lead, right? He does have his O value. He does have decent income, right? It's not too far away from the one Aviator does have. And he does have, by far, the best scaling role out of all those. So I think, yeah, he's looking really, really good.
But when's it going to be the send? Because Ashton's kind of weak 17, but Xcode is insane. Oh, Ashton, no, he expects to send here. So he doesn't treasure hunt. He even sells one of the rats there to boost his orchids.
Yeah,
that's a
45
bit of a...
gold. That's one worker.
That's a bit of a blunder there from Ashton. Like, he was expecting the send here on 16, it doesn't come, and that just makes it so much harder for him now to hold wave 17 if they decide to send there.
I mean, he still does have 4,000 value right on wave 16, so he's gonna have a lot of value next wave, and he's obviously a bit under, but he's still gonna be okay in terms of probably not leaking 100.
Nobody sends again on 17. So this is just gonna be a straight 18 play, right?
Yeah, well, Xcode is so OP on 18.
He is strong, but the send's gonna be immense there. We're gonna be looking at like 900 send from SSP.
Yeah, you could, in theory, Xcode and Ashton, they can just go for Income King, and then they won't die once again. It's pretty simple, like last game, right? Xcode and Ashton, they just have to do Income King, and they know that Xcode by far has the best roll for 20, and as they don't die pre-20, they will win.
Yeah, but we have full Harden here from SSP, we have double Golem Harden there for Aviator. So I think wave 18 is looking really solid now for Ashton and Xcode to send.
It has to be 18, right? I mean, especially with those Hardens on SSP and Aviator, it kinda implies that it's gonna be 18 on top of this. Well, they haven't been shining that much for 18, even though you do have the Asaria and Daphnes on Aviator. Even I think the majority of all the masks are boosted now.
This is
and
gonna
SSP
be
obviously a lot of archers.
What? SSP and Aviator don't send here?
They're so mental.
They're just dead.
Those guys are so mental.
They're dead. They're certainly dead.
I don't know.
There's no way.
I mean, Aviator has the potential to burst units on wave 18, right?
But he has 2 D-hardened golems. SSP has 5 D-hardened mudmen. I just think
the masks, right? Each unit, the Daphnes attack are gonna be killed within seconds because the masks are basically always attacking that unit with every second attack. You do have the Assyria going for that. You do have the big mask on the other side. 4 big masks boosted. You do have some attack speed slow.
Look at the values though. Minus 990 for SSP, minus 725 for Aviator.
And it's so small against Aviator. Look at this. Perfectly tanking the Assyria, right? It's just bursting the units. One is already down. The mask. Look at this. Look at how the units are burning down. Aviator is just a monster in this wave and getting a small stand on top.
But now all of his tanks are dead. All of his kiting split is dead.
Yeah. But all of the units of the wave are dead as well. Like Aviator is just melting that wave. Who cares?
On SSP, Aviator's so holding. Aviator's holding at minus 725 with double D-hardened golems. Dude,
he was a monster on that wave, right? But now, there's the thing. They have to send down win 19. I said it before. You have to get after wave 19 as X-God and Ashton because you have this OP roll on X-God. And I do really like the play they're going for because they're aware of this fact. They have to go for this all-in send, and it's gonna be 19, the weakest wave of Ashton and X-God.
Yeah. Here comes the big send. Ashton and X-God. I don't know if they expect it here because they didn't go for England King. X-God's value is insane, but I mean, look at this. He's minus 1400. Ashton's minus 1400.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 orchids boosted. 7 orchids boosted.
But there's a ton of snails coming from Aviator, so it's going to waste a lot of those valuable orchid shurikens.
I love this game. Holy shit, there's a king ups. Okay, just want to say there's no king ups.
So they have full king. But the sends are huge. There's over 1,000 in both lanes. We have got the rats spending a lot of time for the wave to kill, but at least the witch is able to take advantage of that in Ashton's lane.
You know what's the best? 5 minutes before us, Shadowwings calling the 18 and Joe calling the 19.
These guys know what the overbuilding starve is all about.
Oh, look at this!
Escort's doing so insanely well. Ashton does leak a lot there.
It's not enough. There's 2 shamans still. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
143% on Ashton, 108% on X-God.
This is lethal.
Well, a lot of it is low though. Like it's big percentage-wise, but there's a bunch of frogs in there, and a lot of the wave creeps are low. I
think Lightning Hammer is one of the worst spells for this wave.
Yeah, 4 shamans.
Oh, this is lethal.
It's way too much damage.
Oh
way
my
too
god!
Much damage.
This is so massive. This is so great.
Wow, dude. So that's a quick 1-0 on the board in favor of This Is Fine.
Holy shit! This was so amazing.
I mean, if you look at the graph, they were actually ahead the entire game, right? So SSP and Aviator, remember they had way more workers. They were putting on a ton of pressure in the early game. If I scroll back through the waves there, we can see, let's look at some of the turning points. Like if we have a look at wave 7, for example, SSP and Aviator both on 10 and 9 workers, while Ashton and X-God only have 6, and they both leak. That's the more important part. So despite staying on 6 workers until wave 7, they both managed to leak there. And again, I've got to say that's kind of because X-God didn't want to sell his steed there on wave 7. Like he played the Halo, he played the double poly. He could have just sold the steed and like guaranteed a hold, then they wouldn't have taken any king damage. Maybe things would have turned out differently.
Very likely, right? Him just selling the steed, going for the kingpin, this is a safe hold for him. There's no doubt.
But he was a little bit greedy there, and he did pay for it, because then not only does he leak there, but he also can't really push very hard because he still doesn't have that kingpin power spike. He actually doesn't get one until wave 10.
Yeah, I think like this is for sure probably the most important wave to mention, where SSP and Aviator actually were able to take the lead. But then this broken Hexagon 11. This is a neck breaker.
We can't forget the Hexagon 11. And he did have polys in the split, you're right. Like, if he just keeps those polys, I think he probably holds, right? Because the Halo's going to stay alive a bit longer, it's going to deal some more damage. And he only leaked two creeps, right? And one of them was quite low as well. So I've got to think that if he still had those polys in the split, he's probably holding there on 11.
This is actually amazing. I love the play, like just how it turned out. It reminds me so much of the broken Assyria Butcher combos in the beginning, where we were just going for like, okay, we're going 13, 19 or whatever, just to break this combo. This exactly felt like such a game, and it worked so well for them, right? Being so brave to not send 18 after full hardening both of them.
That was insane to me, dude. Like, that was absolutely insane. Aviator holding there, I know, like, he's got so much time in that split with all of the masks, but he's minus 700 value, and he has 2 dehardened golems. I'm honestly super surprised that he was able to hold that.
But he knows that he can't get a lot because Xcot going for the XX.
Yeah, so just doesn't have any
workers. Had to be no workers, and on top of this, all the time he was still trying to get this XX. He never got a cent, right?
That was insane. Like, Aviator just clearly able to push that build to its absolute limits, pulling out the hold there on 18 while being insanely undervalued, and that was just
really crazy.
It was completely game winning for them. It was completely game winning for them. And then we just saw the killer blow there on 19. Like, Ashton and Xcod just not able to hold against those 1,000 Mythium set.
This is insane.
Yeah, absolutely nuts, dude. Absolutely. But let's see if we can hop into the next lobby, because I'm looking for some more exciting games, dude.
I hope we see 5 of those games today, right?
Yeah,
4 more of those. My neighbors are gonna love me when I start to shout around in the first week.
I think Aviator and SSP are talking about reversing the send order. But it's Ashton's choice, right? Because they lost.
Well, I don't know what... I mean, maybe Axel and Ashton are in a position where they want to swap as well.
Yep.
Those first games that we can pick, yeah, he's right about that fact. Maybe this is a reverse psychology, though. They tell them to swap the sends and make Xcot and Ashton swap them.
Okay, so Ashton and Xcod get to pick the send order. Let's just wait and see what they go with. Well, Ashton and Xcod, they haven't said what order they want, so...
I'm still in shock. I can't talk too much. It was such a thrill in the end.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy,
so
dude.
amazing.
Like, absolutely crazy. Like, they just played it so well on the side of SSP and Aviator.
Yeah.
This is what we expect of our finalist teams. You know, it's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be a close game, and it's going to be like very, very high level play, no matter what.
It is. Oh, it seems like the next game is about to start in a few seconds. I'm really hoping we will see at least one Mastermind option that is not greed today, just for the fans.
Yep. Yeah, I would love to see someone not picking greed. Like, it's a little bit vanilla, let's say, if everyone's just going to pick greed every time.
I mean, nobody had a problem with all picking greed before, but now, since actually Mastermind options are, or should be, some game mechanic that should affect the gameplay, and still nobody's like using them in competitive gameplay, it's obviously something you're hoping for.
But guys, without any further ado, we have got a game underway. There is a 1-0 advantage on the side of This Is Fine. But remember, this is a best of 5, so anything can happen. And unfortunately, Bonnie, I hate to break it to you, but we do have 4 more greeds.
Well, goodbye then. Have fun. Well, we do have, first of all, Aviator. Look at this roll. Flying Force with Cat and Bone Warrior.
That's a lovely roll there for Aviator.
This man is going to be on 8. Workers on wave 1. Nothing else to do apart from that.
I mean, you know, when the guy who's named Aviator has Flying Force, you know the game is going to be pretty good.
It's going to be pretty good.
Absolutely, dude.
We do have SSP. I don't know if SSP is a fan of it, but okay. He doesn't like Aqua Flower, apparently.
He's going for the Green Devil style, which is pretty solid, and he has got late game potential there with the Ocean Templar and the Sovereign.
Xcod has the Life Binder and Sea Dragon Wild Shroom Bark combo. I think it's very strong what he has in his hands as well. Deciding against the Wild Shroom though, so he won't be profiting off this first heal right away into the wave.
It's pretty strong on a Green Devil though, right? Because obviously you get that damage reduction, so all of the HP onto a Green Devil is worth more than it is on any other unit.
Well, I 100% agree, obviously. but you do profit a lot from the Wild Shroom getting the immediate heal, and therefore overall it's likely to get like more heals out from the Life Binder.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, obviously the damage reduction on the Green Devil or the Dodge and the Yasora are obviously just increasing the effective HP a lot. Or effective heal.
Aviator also leaking 8%. Aviator got the God aggro, so both of them with a Windhawk opener, but Aviator clearly the better player there, only leaking 1 Greep instead of 2. Just pure skill.
Why he won that last game.
Yeah. Now, Ashton is forced off. He gets his egg here. He is receiving a Dragon Turtle, though.
What?
Yeah, Ashton Butcher going for an egg. Like, what is the world coming to?
You have Ashton going for an egg and X-God still going for the 5-worker greedy opener.
Yeah. Knowing that he's going to leak.
Mental. Oh, but Ashton... Oh, this is interesting. Ashton is going to have the Life Binder for wave 3. So that might actually be a very strong combo with an X-Egg. I never thought about this, actually, but this could be OP.
But receiving the Dragon Turtle here as well, like, it just takes all of that pressure off of him, right?
Well, you still aren't that great these days on wave 3 either. Especially with longer waves, it might be another 40 recent, so he does have to add the Life Binder to be safe.
He is pushing a worker as well, so surely he has to send that snail now so that he can afford at least the Atom.
60, 70, but even with an Atom that is not in the split, this is actually going to be close. Like if... Oh no, he's not going to Dragon Turtle. Okay, never mind then.
He's going to be fine. Like, Aviator can only afford 2 snails here, and with the Atom, I'm sure Ashton is going to be more than fine.
I think a Dragon Turtle would be a leak, to be honest. I think this happened to me in one game, getting the recent Dragon Turtle and then actually leaking.
Yeah.
If you don't have it in a split.
Let's see. There is actually a Brute Snail coming out from X-God. How's Aviator going to deal with this? I think we just assume that all of the other players are able to hold. But yeah, look at this. Like, the Windhawk is just dying super fast there against the Brute. Already gone. Now, he is getting good split focus between his 2 Tempests, but it's not going to be enough. We will see a decent leak here on Aviator. Yeah, look at that, 61%.
Sure, this hits you, but therefore, obviously, X-God didn't miss out on a lot of income before.
He did.
He didn't send. So that's obviously something you have to take into consideration as well.
He did. SSP clearly able to hold the snail send there, but he won't be able to fully hold the leak, so there's going to be a little bit of king damage here on wave 3 on the side of SSP and Aviator.
But you still do need this one worker, right? Because Ashton obviously limited due to his X-Tag. He doesn't have too much leftover gold he can push, and so there's still going to be at least one more night time where Ashton is behind in workers.
Yeah. Alright, so we have the 7 workers already there for X-God and SSP. Ashton obviously a bit slower with his Hydra start, but he did get the 2-stack Hydra, so he is going to have that pretty nice power spike going on here, and he's looking pretty solid now, at least until wave 7 or 8.
Talked about a lot of roles, by the way, but I think we never really mentioned SSP. He's probably playing for the Vampire Avenger, but he doesn't really have a lot of tanks. Besides the Graal, his role does not feature a lot of like big meat shields you would like to have for the Avenger.
Now this time Aviator did smell the resend coming. He stayed very high value there, 380, but even so, I think he might go for a bit of a leak here.
Yeah, it does look like it. I mean, you do always have this problem, like Flying Force, you have a very aggressive opener, especially the last patch when the Windhawk was still able to hold wave 1 with 5 workers. But then you do have those wave 3 and 4, and depending on what you get and when you get a send, it can work out for your opponent quite well if you don't have the right answers.
Sure. Now we have 8 workers across the board there for Ashton, X-God, SSP. Aviator lagging behind with a miserable 7 workers.
Oh no, how dare he?
Yeah,
but he didn't take the cat, right? That's why. Obviously, he didn't take the cat.
The cat actually would have been insane for him, right? Because then he would have had an answer on wave 4.
I think just cat over Gargoyle helped him so much.
Yeah.
Like the Gargoyle is a bit better for 15, but apart from that, the cat should be always the better choice, especially for the early game, where you can just level it in 30 gold steps.
Now, SSP has a dangerous amount of Mythium saved up. He's already above 100. When does he want to send, though? Do you think it's going to be straight 7 against X-God?
Well, X-God looks really weak on 7, right? You just mentioned it. You have the Green Devil and the Sea... what's the name again? Sea Dragon.
Yep.
With a lot of magic damage on top. All the other units are natural. So you don't really have a lot to protect yourself in Wave 7. He does have to shift for the Banana Bank in order to somehow be fine. I don't know if he's greedy enough to do so.
That's the thing. Is he going to be able to call this? Because if he shifts for the bunk, he's going to be in a really strong position.
Right? Is there another option for him to do this?
I mean, he has to do it, but it's so dangerous because if SSP sends like 2 brutes here, X-God's dead.
Yeah, but you do have Ashton to cover you, right? You do have Ashton with the full aggregate and Atom backline, so Ashton is really strong here. He should be the one covering.
It's going to pay off for him here. And Ashton going for his income send as usual. And here comes the send. So there's a Mimic out from SSP. Aviator has 140. I don't think he'll get Mimic in time, but he can... Well, he doesn't want to Mimic against Ashton's Hydra, of course.
Oh, it's probably just going to be income for him as well, I would assume.
Yeah.
Drake, maybe?
There's the Drake and the Snail, yeah. So Ashton, he has another 150 Mythium gold, to play with. He gets the Pegasus there. Now, this is actually pretty good damage. Like, I know the Hydra is terrible on Wave 7, but if he does go for that Pegasus, 1, it's nice tank value, but 2, it's going to hypercharge the Proton and the Atom, and that's going to be able to do some DPS.
I don't know if you maybe even want to sell that.
I actually wouldn't sell it.
Exactly.
You
sell it and put in the split, so you have the split, and you just do channel all the mana into the Atom, and as the Atom is full, the Pegasus is just buffing itself. So I think it's way better to sell it.
I actually wouldn't sell it, and I'll tell you why. The Proton only has 20 mana pool, so the Pegasus fills it up in like 3 or 4 casts, right? And it actually does decent DPS. Like for 20 gold, when it's fully stacked, it's doing pretty high damage. Look at this, 70% on X-God.
I'm a way bigger fan of doing it as Ashton did it, because you really make sure to get this Atom full stacked, and then you do have the Pegasus buffing itself.
But he's not holding though.
Yeah.
Not holding on.
I think he would have filled less with buffing the Atom on top.
This is
not a play you can do if you're ahead.
It's not terrible for them. They do get leaks on both SSP and Aviator. There was a mole send from X-God, but Ashton was only income, and they're not taking too much damage here against the big sends from SSP and Aviator.
I think it's fine. The Mimic didn't cash out too much. It was 9 gold only, so it could have been more effective.
I'm going to call this one a win for Ashton and X-God. Like, they seem to be in a pretty solid position so far. There is the big Hydra there on Ashton. He does have the worker advantage. He does have the income advantage. I think he's in a pretty good position.
He is, and now Ashton has rerolled, and his roll looks amazing. He does have the strong early game already with the Exec, the full stacked Hydra. Now he does have the Steeds together with the Halo. We had this twice on Exec already. This is by far one of the best combos in the late game for covering those big HP weights, 18 plus. And he still has a gate the X, right? So you can still play for the X. You can still get X down mid game and then just stretch the game to end it.
And like you say as well, like the Steed Halo is just absolutely insane damage. Now that they've changed it so that Halo can buff itself multiple times, Steed Halo is actually insane.
Yeah, it is. It is, I think, by far the best combo to hold 2021.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just nuts.
All right, but now after getting the income send there on wave 8, SSP does take the worker advantage. He's up to 15 here, which is pretty solid.
Yeah. One thing we named in the lobby of the first game is Aviator in competitive games. He's usually going for team sense, right? And we already see SSP and Aviator, they're saving up again. They're around 200 each already, and we know Aviator loves wave 10, right? So in most cases, it would be a wave 10.
It can't send wave 10, right? Because Ashton has the Avenger, X-God has the Halo.
Yeah. Again, what they don't know yet is that Ashton actually does have a Halo to back him up, right? So he does have the Avenger having all this nice and juicy HP and damage reduction due to Swift. And then on top of this, you have the Halo and the atoms with insane damage.
SSP going for a pro leak. He's even going to kill 2 more Scorpions here, so he only leaks 3. That's perfect for him.
They're gonna send here, right? With this aggressive push of SSP.
I don't know. Like, XGod and Ashton are both looking so strong on 10.
SSP has no chance of holding. He does have a Harbinger that's not gonna get a second summon.
Okay, they go.
Have to send.
Yeah, you're right. They go. So we've got Ogre and Snails from SSP. We've got Ghost Knight from Aviator, and actually the Ghost Knight is perfect.
Arc of Justice, a killer.
That has to just be a hold then from SSP. Now, I mean, he's kind of lacking tanks, but the Arc of Justice is just so good on wave 10.
Yeah, XGod is in a really good spot, and she does have the Tempest as well for later waves, right? You can just go for the Flying Halo, which is a massive damage output in the mid game.
And as we were saying, so Ashton, like the Ghost Knight looks really, really good against him, but he gets the Halo, which is just perfect for killing Ghost Knights.
Well, it still takes a lot of time, right? So the boss is free hitting, but
that Ghost Knight is now down. This might even just be a hold for Ashton.
Oh, maybe XGod is not able to hold because he did not have enough tanks to give his Arc of Justice the time
it needed.
What
I was worried about. That's what I was worried about. He just didn't have the tank. But Ashton, is he just going to hold? He is, right?
Yeah, he's holding. He's holding.
And SSP and Aviator, they don't.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. I mean, this is definitely not a win around for Aviator and SSP. Once again, Ashton and...
He even covers the boss there in the mid. Yeah. So, down to 56% on the side of SSP and Aviator. Meanwhile, almost 0 king damage done there with their big send on 10.
And now, we're in a situation, yes, we do have SSP and Aviator overall in the lead of workers, but they're down in king HP. They're down in king upgrades. They do have the worst scaling if you look at XGod and SSP, because their scaling is really damn good. So they're looking a little bit worse, even though, yeah, based on their worker, they seem a bit ahead. Yeah,
for sure. Now we have Ashton starting to abuse those eggs, so he stays on 14 workers. He will get another egg sack out. He could potentially lose it on 12, like he doesn't look amazing there. But obviously if XGod is able to get the Haven there, then he's just very, very strong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Aviator going for the text allowance. He didn't like all the spells he had. I think
that's fair enough.
You could make friends with a villain, I think. That might be something you would like to go for, but text allowance is a very great spell for...
Yeah, he doesn't really have a perfect villain carrier, right? Like, none of his melee units are really staying alive for that long, and you don't really want to put it on a Disciple, I don't think.
Well, Disciple is obviously the best choice you do have left over, but I do agree none of his units is perfect to be a villain unit. You would just take it for the extra damage on late game waves.
Okay, so SSP and Aviator, they're going for a play. Ashton and XGod, they go for the income sends here, maybe feeling slightly under pressure. But SSP and Aviator, they're continuing to save. And after getting this income send here, they're back in the driver's seat. They can kind of choose the pace of the game at this point, and they can send whenever they want. When do you think they will go for a counterplay against Ashton and XGod?
I think it's going to be 15. Or 14. Maybe 14 is better. Actually, 14 is looking better.
14 could work, but Ashton's going to have a Sovereign with Ocean Templar and Lifesteal there.
Ah, true. I forgot about the Lifesteal. Well, maybe it might be 16 then? I don't know. 16 could be quite good because a lot of people value Avenger with Lifesteal quite high on 16, but obviously it's impact damage, so you won't get out a lot. There's those sea Spellbinders and Sea Dragons.
SSP is actually leaking the income send here.
Wait, is the big one called Spellbinder? I don't know. Lifebinder.
Lifebinder. Yeah, so SSP goes for 46% leak there. He doesn't really mind though because he's got a decent worker lead, and of course they continue to save.
Well, I actually think it's going to be a very long save because I think it was Aviator when he was in the Discord with us. He once mentioned that the best he thinks to play against XX is to long save.
Wow.
So I think he's just going for this long save and keep his opponent low workers this way, because they will obviously always try to keep the eggs, and this time, or therefore, income send a lot more often.
Yeah, but I have to.
You have the time to just long save.
I have to say this though, Ashton just reading his opponents like an absolute master. He knows that he's overvalued. He knows that he's strong here, and what's more, he knows that SSP and Aviator want to go for this long save. So he says, "I'm not scared. I'm building another egg here on 13, even though you continue to save."
This could be a self trap as well, right? Because now he's not going to be able to get Avenger and Ocean Templar, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he can't.
So this could open up the doors for 14. Or they're gonna trap themselves and just income send once more because they want to keep this egg alive. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now this again gives SSP and Aviator the chance to actually long save, because they likely don't die against small sends on 14, especially with SSP having the Avenger now is himself. So I think SSP, they could go long, or they try now.
Super low value here on SSP. Yeah. There is income send coming out, and SSP and Aviator, like you say, continue to save.
Okay, so there's now this possibility of 16. The problem with 16 always is it's weak against the king, right?
Yeah.
And with such a long save, you probably want to finish in one go because you are falling off a lot.
Yeah.
So it's either 16 or they even go for like an even longer save and send on, I don't know, 17, 18, 19. I don't want to make a guess now. Because I probably would get baited for 16, but then I probably would lose on another wave after 16.
But we were saying that Ashton, with that egg, wouldn't be able to have the Ocean Templar and the Sovereign, but he just can. He just has enough gold. Yeah, like you say, they kind of need to go for a one-shot now, because if they go for the big send and Ashton and X-God either hold or at least don't take too much damage, I have to say they're in like a losing position then, right?
I know a lot of people are not caring about the king spells, but actually king spells give you often a nice decider on what wave you should send. For example, obviously Immolation is quite weak on 13 or on just boss waves because it's a flat damage aura. And same as with Lightning Hammer, which is the current king spell. It is quite weak on swarm waves like 16 would be, because it's jumping to the next ally, and obviously on 16 you need a lot more units since there's a lot more units in the wave. So the jumping is gonna not let all units getting hit, like for example with Judgment, and so the spell is overall a bit weaker on 16, like Judgment for example is.
Alright, SSP and Aviator, they have insane amounts of Mythium saved up. Ashton and X-God at least not going for another income send here on 15, so they've read the 16 send.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, right, 16, especially with a weaker king spell for 16, is quite lethal in most cases, especially if there's units like a 4-eye or 2 4-eyes on top, right? And the king has to first focus on the 4-eye. A hermit usually does great, because if you add a hermit on wave 16, the king usually needs 3 AoE shots to kill a full life wave, and this is usually... Wait, Aviator?
Oh, Aviator, hello? Going on? Well, he's just continuing to save against Ashton. He knows that Ashton's overvalued with those eggs.
No way. Aviator's gone to the 19.
Wow, that's such an Aviator play, dude. We'll have to see if it pays off. Like, he's starving himself.
Last game.
So much.
To last game. Is this gonna be the go-to play once again?
He's starving himself so much though, and now X-God, sure, he's going to leak against SSP Send, but Ashton will easily hold this.
Yeah. The one thing I ask myself, because it just got shown by the chat, did X-God actually ever send giant snails? Do the opponents know that it's giant snails? Because he was sending a lot of other income stuff before.
Maybe he's been hiding it, but when do they want to send then? Like, is it just... It has to be 17, right, against SSP and Aviator. Their values are so low now.
I mean, against them, yeah.
X-God leaks big here, but I think SSP and Aviator are actually in trouble on 17.
Well, no, the send is way too small, right?
Oh, Aviator is sending on 17.
What? But now, are they now gonna split send?
I mean, the send is massive from Aviator. He has Shaman, he has double 4-eyes.
But why? Like now, Xcode is having double Haven, so there's no chance for SSP to break him, especially double Haven. He does have some backup damage with the Arc of Justice. What is this going to be? I don't understand it.
I don't understand the
get
play.
this play. I don't get it.
Because Xgod can just hold here now, right? He has double Haven, he even has a small bunk to go with. And sure, Ashton's getting a
Aviator
massive
felt
send.
like dying with all the Tempests he does have, right? He's not looking great on 17 at all. And so it would be SSP's job to carry now.
Yeah.
But I don't really get the send here. Like either you send 16 both of you, I feel like, or Aviator actually has to agree till 19.
It was a bit of a weird play, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, let's see. But look at all of the ground units, and Xgod now is using his giant snails. But of course, with so many Tempest and Leviathans, all of the ground snails just die immediately.
I mean, right, Leviathans, Tempest, and Violets, those snails are just a waste. You basically don't have to use them.
Ashton, though.
SSP holding, easy. Ashton holding. Or maybe...
I'm not sure.
Nah,
I'm not sure. I think he's going to leak. I think he's going to leak very small. Xgod obviously holds.
For 100, I don't know. For 100 shutdowns, is it worth it?
Aviator leaks very small. Ashton, his percentage leak is big, but I mean, he's leaking 1 creep plus the range send, so he's completely fine with that. Like you say, the problem is the 100 gold shutdown, giving a decent chunk of gold over to SSP and Aviator. Let's see if that's enough to make the difference.
It's so unsatisfying. I'm really disappointed. Like, 16 was looking a lot better because even Ashton on 16 is not looking as great. Like, maybe go for some Ghost Knights against him. He's not having any damage besides the Halo that might get dangerous for the Ghost Knight.
Yeah.
4-eye, whatever, on top. But the 17 just didn't give them anything. And now you have Aviator not looking great on 18, not looking great on 19. SSP,
I think
no
he
chance
is
to cover
pretty
19.
good on 19. I think Leviathan, Tempests are insane there.
Yeah, but he's undervalued. He's hard undervalued,
Yeah,
right?
he
Like, obviously,
really is.
he does have the chance with the units, but his value is not looking great.
He starved himself
chance
so
in
much.
19.
Well, one is he starved himself so much with that crazy long save on Ashton, which, by the way, like, he barely leaked. But two, Xgod is also full pushing here. Yeah. So we say that Aviator's undervalued. Well, he's going to get a massive send as well. I think this might just be lethal, you're right.
I don't really see a chance Aviator and SSP win in this spot because SSP, he did get a bit more income due to him sending one wave earlier than Aviator did, but he's not looking great on 19 at all. Aviator just having too low income.
Now they know. So they know that Xgod is full pushed here. So Aviator and SSP have to send. And actually, Aviator, he reads it perfectly. He starts to push workers himself. So he knows he's getting the suicide send from Xgod. He's going to push workers here. He's going to try and leak Ashton.
Come on, leak Ashton now.
Yeah, it's not an easy prospect because Ashton's value is through the roof. And SSP... So this is all going to come down to a race now. Who can hold longer? Is it going to be Ashton? Is it going to be SSP? And I have to say, I think Ashton's build is just straight up better for wave 19. Like, he has a bunch of life binders for extra HP. He's got 3 fully stacked Hydras there for tank value. I think he's looking like a pretty good spot.
What's the plan of SSP, right? There's no chance of him holding, right? He already built the King Claws, I assume, to just delay spamming the tier 1s. It's just a delay option because he's not able to cover 2 lanes. Even if he's holding what's not likely, he can't cover.
He just has to hold longer. Oh, Xgod guessing that Aviator's going to full push, actually going for King upgrades. So he's suicide pushed into King upgrades.
So it's so
wow,
smart.
These guys are just reading each other at like a super high level.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, he did full push before, right? And now, start of 18, he did not push a single worker anymore because they know, right? They just have to hold.
Obviously
oh, look at this! Ashen not looking great at all.
Oh, he's not. And Xgod does leak, but SSP.
He's
leaking too. Ashton will leak first. Ashton does leak first, but they have way more King HP. Yeah. And of course, they have King upgrades as well.
And actually, they are on the left side. I personally feel like the left gate is opening a bit slower than the other one.
Victory.
So, I mean, we wanted the series to be close, and we do now have a 1-1 with X-Crash able to bring the series to a tie.
Okay, I might be mad because Aviator did send on 17, but I think this was a mistake. This 18 send made no sense.
So Aviator actually did a 10 until 17 send against Ashton. I mean,
yeah, but 17 makes no sense at all. I don't get it.
He might just have been really scared himself on 17. And I don't blame him because he leaked on 17 after sending and versus what I think is a pretty bad send from Xgod. Like, if Xgod just sends 2 4 eyes there, Aviator's leaking the entire wave, right?
Well, Xgod can't send 2 4 eyes, right?
Okay, he doesn't have enough Mythium, sure.
Yeah, obviously, but like the problem I have with it, I can definitely see the fact that he's scared and all that, but you kind of have to trust an SSP, right? If you're starting such a long save, and then if you start such a long save, you have to finish in one go.
Yeah.
And then splitting up your sends is like
that was really weird to me, honestly.
Like maybe they made a call last second, and then SSP had already sent. Maybe that's like something that happened in game.
And then Aviator changes his mind. Maybe. And to be fair, they did get a massive leak on Xcode there. 130% is a lot of economic damage.
Xcode never was in shutdown, right? Yeah. Ashton was the one on shutdown. So if SSP sends on Ashton and is breaking him, giving the shutdown, maybe this is a play to go for if the shutdown is like mattering. But this way, Xcode not even giving shutdown, only denying Xcode the gold, and obviously giving SSP a bit of income.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't get it. Maybe there was like internal communications we don't know about. Obviously they were, but we can't smell those.
I just have to say as well, like how well those two teams were reading each other all the way through the game. Like at the end there, Xgod full pushes, Aviator spots it, immediately starts full pushing himself. Xgod then realizing that Aviator's going to full push too, sends king ups instead of going for a full send there. It's just like both of these teams are living in each other's heads, and I love it.
Yeah, it is. It's like a perfect match of tennis where you just are able to counter every attack from your opponent.
Insane. But I mean, we do have a 1-1 on our hands, so everything's still to play for. We're now basically in a best of 3 series. Either team clearly already in a solid position, and we'll just have to see, because I think these two teams are really, really evenly matched.
Oh, my nerves. I won't make it today.
Yeah, this is nuts, dude. Absolutely nuts. Okay, so we do have the next lobby open. I don't know if the players need a little bit of a break before the next game. I wouldn't blame them, to be honest. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, I think this is really tough for them, right? They both played 3 games before this final, so this could be up to 8 games for them on this day, which is a lot, right? This is exhausting. A lot of you might think, okay, you're just playing a bit, but those games are going to go till 19, 17, 18, 19 every time, so you play around 25 to 30 minutes, full concentrated, not allowing any mistake, because any mistake, especially in the early game, could cost you the game immediately.
Man, what a nail-biter of a series. And interestingly enough, it's worth pointing out, SSP and Aviator, now that they have the send order, they've decided to reverse. So Xgod will be sending to SSP and Ashton will be sending to Aviator. I guess they decide that Aviator is the carry player and they want Aviator to receive Ashton's income send. So, guys, we do have a game on our hands. Let's go. And another Battle Scars game, by the way, so I'll be interested to see if anybody goes for that.
I want to see it now. Battle Scars, it is. Let's go.
So we do have 3 greed picks. Xgod, okay, I was going to say, Xgod was taking his time there. I was really hoping he would go for something that's not greed, but no, he just decided to go for greed.
But Xgod's role is nice, right? You have the Millennium APS Boar, still a good combo, even though Boar got nerfed quite hard.
Wow, Xgod's role is insane, dude.
Oh, he does have Halo and
he has Halo, yeah. I was going to say, with the Boar, yeah, sure, they had the slow taken away, which is a big deal, especially in the late game, but it doesn't matter too much when you're playing Halo Boar, because the whole point of that combo is the Boar destroys all of the small sends, like any Dragon Turtle, Fiend, Dino spam. The Boar just kills it immediately, and that means your Halo has free range to ramp up on the wave creeps. So it's just like an unbeatable late game combo, basically.
Yes. And then you do have on top the problem that you're not looking. Wait, what? Never mind. I thought X got locked in the first row, but I didn't see the second row still being existent in this selection. But I wanted to say that you do have still Halo and Boar. You do have this problem, especially wave 16.
He didn't pick it?
He didn't pick any of the units?
He doesn't pick the Doomsday, or the Halo, or the Boar? Are you drunk, X-God? Hello?
What the hell is this? Is he gonna play Nightmare Cat now?
I mean, he has to, right? But, like, maybe he just thought he didn't have enough early game if he went for the Halo Boar, but... Man, I think that's a hell of a roll to pass up on.
This was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I mean, Ashton, Cannon, Gargoyle, APS. Juicy.
Yeah, that's a juicy roll as well. And actually, SSP, we were talking about X-God's roll. Look at SSP. He does have the Halo. He does have the Boar. Wow.
I saw it, but obviously he didn't have the chance to have APS and Doomsday on top of it. Right?
Well,
it was just a massive lead on X-God's roll, I think. It's just massive.
I think if this game ends up going late, X-God's just going to kick himself for not taking the Halo Boar.
What about Aviator, by the way? He lacks a bit of single target damage, I feel. Like, he does have a bit of single target damage, but mainly magic, which is LD and Infiltrator. Then there's a little bit of Lioness, but obviously Lioness is coming more towards mid-game into existence, where it really matters.
Aviator also playing with the double treasure hunt as well, and I have to say, like, he's probably the best pack rat player in the game, right? Like in the world.
Aviator played pack rats when nobody even knew that pack rats exist, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the underground workers. Yeah. He's a trendsetter.
Like he did definitely develop this whole play style.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just seen the stream that I still suck. That's definitely not true.
You do. You do. Unfortunately, moving house didn't help you in that regard.
No, probably even getting worse.
All right, we have a few snails sent all round. I don't expect to see any leaks out of this. The question is, will SSP go for the Bounty Hunter on wave 4? I'm pretty sure that he will. And everyone's just holding here. Oh, what? How? How did the Nightmare full tank for the Necromata there?
The snail, I think due to the attack speed, it still happens that the Nightmare is getting a bit too excited running into the hoppers.
I mean, it's a hold anyway, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, it should be. Okay, now Ashton does have 7 workers here.
Wait. What? Is it a hold?
What?
It might be.
It is a
Pro League.
It is. It is 7 hit points left on the Necromata there. Alright. But Ashton loved that long wave. He's on those 7 workers. He's going with a Fiend. Can he bully Aviator off the treasure hunt? So far, he's only got 1 above ground. Alright, he even makes another one. But Aviator with 415 value should be just fine here against the 80 cent.
Come on, where's the balls? I want to see the triple treasure from Aviator.
No balls. No balls confirmed.
Definitely no balls.
Yeah. Yeah, he even has the Warg tanking the Fiend and killing the Fiend.
Yeah, that's perfect.
He's going to be
actually perfect.
He's going to be just fine. He's not going to leak. Meanwhile, SSP actually did not upgrade the Bounty Hunter here on Wave 4. I'm kind of surprised by that because it was already fully stacked after Wave 3.
Yeah. And SSP once again going for the 6 stacks on the cat, while he does have another Necromata placed down.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just doesn't know that the 5/6 are enough, but I'm pretty sure he does know that part.
And still no upgrade, so again, he's wasting all of those potential stacks on the Kingpin.
This hurts a bit.
Yeah.
Just in terms of losing the stacks, obviously.
I think he just should have made it on 4, right? Like, it was already fully stacked, and sure, he wanted the stacked Neko there on Wave 4, but the Bounty Hunter's not bad.
But the thing is, you're gonna be bad in this spot anyway at some point, right? Why not be bad? Why not be bad on a wave where you want to get at least some 6? All right. Sure, I'm gonna take over a bit and give obviously very great comments. So we have Ashton now taking over the lead. I think we pointed out really quick before. He has the gun, he has the gargoyle, and gun is probably at the moment the unit or the opener especially.
Wow.
You can snowball the most with, right?
Yeah, look at this.
It's just insane.
The DPS Royal Guard there just absolutely crushing SSP's hopes and dreams. Like that should have been an easy hold, right? But the Royal Guard just didn't tank.
Yeah, I mean, this is rough. This can happen on wave 5, ranged units, due to the boss spawning quite a bit in front of the wave. The pathing is a bit different than you would think it is compared to other waves.
And these long waves, by the way, really bad for Aviator with his 3 workers.
Yeah,
like, sure, he's using treasure hunts.
Look at the counterpart, Ashton 8 worker. This is just so great for him.
Yeah. Let's have a look at how the Mythium's lining up. So Ashton, with his 8 workers, actually has 30 Mythium more than Aviator, and that gap is just keeping on growing because he has to work.
Obviously, Aviator, 200 more value, right? We have to mention that as well.
Is he going to bully him off the treasure hunt?
Yeah,
that's huge.
Treasure, right? Yeah, 1.
He's hunting 1, 2,
3. 2 more. Come on.
3.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
3's fine. 3's fine. I think.
Yeah, the question is, is there a reason why he did treasure that one over the other one? Because this would have given him a split.
I mean, look at this aggro. This is like perfect aggro with this one.
As he's getting his tank, I think this aggro is messed up.
Maybe. But Aviator still having the balls to treasure hunt there, I think, is pretty clutch, because if he keeps 2 or 3 of those above ground, it's just like game over, pretty much.
It's just amazing. Ash with the gate here.
Yeah. And there is a send coming in. It's only going to be 2 brutes from SSP, which really is not that dangerous.
It isn't. But I mean, it's a start, right? Ashton with a gate, he's not looking too amazing on wave 7. He does not have a lot of damage besides the cannon. And as he's able to somehow shut it down to get through the tank line, which exists of mainly gargoyles that don't really deal a lot of damage, he might have a chance to break Ashton and to kill the gate before it can summon all the 5 creeps.
Also worth pointing out that I don't really love the combo of Gatling Gun and Gate, because they both are just like mega reliant on tanks, right? Like, both units need a strong tank line to be able to get their full value out, and if you have both of the units on the field, that just means that they're not tanking for each other, right?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, is that actually the income breaker cannoneer?
No, Xcot's holding here. The cat should be able to kill the cannoneer there, I'm pretty sure. And Ashton, he will leak, but only very, very small. Kind of unfortunate focus there.
Fine for him. 10 workers now. Xcot, 10 workers.
Aviator leaking to the income send. Again, more negative value for his rats.
Workers.
He kept 2 above ground as well. Again.
And we had a rat game gone wrong before, right? In the hands of Xcot, I think it was.
Yeah.
And now we have Aviator not shining with this performance, but maybe he does have this secret tactic we don't know about.
Yeah.
The Cannon 8, for example. The Cannon Pioneer.
Look at this. Ashton Butcher, 12 workers. Aviator, 4.
This is insane.
Yeah,
this
absolutely
is
nuts.
So crazy.
And he's even bullying him off the hunt again.
And into the boost.
I mean, sure, Aviator should now be able to hold against this income send, but yeah, like...
Look at this income. 125 against 89.
Yeah, that's insane. Ashton is just going to completely snowball this game.
Okay. So we had the send order getting switched before this game, right? Because Aviator wanted to profit from the income sends of Ashton.
Yeah.
But there's this huge problem. This is the same why when you want to play Cartel, which is at the moment not the best choice anyway, but if you play Cartel, you don't want to play Rats. Because with Cartel, you want to end up in a worker lead. Same as Aviator, he wants to profit by getting a lot of sense and pushing a lot immediately. But with the Rats, he's not able to do so in this spot, and this is just throwing him behind.
He's actually leaking again, by the way. It's only a small income send there from Ashton, the 120, the Dino double snail, and it's a leak. And meanwhile, Aviator, 6 workers, 3 treasure hunt. Like, he's just getting punished wave after wave.
each of those leagues is just giving Ashton a better seeding in this game because he's leading in workers, he's full income sending, and Aviator, he always has to wait till he gets this income to actually send it, so he's losing up on a lot of gold on top of all the timing that Ashton gets prior.
Wow. Okay, so Aviator, clearly not scared this time around. He does have 4 rats underground, but SSP, meanwhile, he is quite scared. Like, he's 1237 value here. He's only receiving income send there from XGod. So again, this has got to be another win for the side of XGod and Ashton.
I'm pretty sure it is. At least at the moment, right? SSP and Aviator, they seem to be quite cut off from the potential they might have with their roles. They both have Boars. Boars still a great unit for the late game. SSP with the Halos, we mentioned the combo before, but at the moment just not looking as great as.
But when I said a win for XGod and Ashton, I actually just meant this wave in particular, not necessarily the whole game. But they certainly feel like they're quite far ahead.
Well, at the state of the game at the moment, I think XGod and Ashton, they look a lot better. Right at that spot. I mean, Ashton is actually on shutdown for 3 waves now.
Yeah.
That's rough.
And when do they leak him, by the way? Like, maybe on 11 with a press the attack send, but SSP doesn't have much Mythium. Like, he was super low workers up until wave 9, where he was able to hold the income send, and now he's been able to push up to 14.
Well, actually, he could work as well, right? 10 could have worked as well against Ashton, who's not having the best tank line, and with the gate, he might struggle a bit. So some shutdown on 10 would have worked.
It's only a 25 gold shutdown, but maybe it was worth going for.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. He might actually leak no send.
Oh, yeah. No.
It's close. He would have leaked to like a dino, though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the income sent they had, which was 100 per income, would have definitely been enough.
And this is exactly what I mean, by the way. The problem with running gates and cannon in the same build is that you just need tanks. You need both of these units need tanks to keep them alive to do what they need to do. And if you're putting if you're putting like 260 gold into the gate and you're putting 500 gold into the cannon, that's a lot of value that's not tanking.
That's crazy. I didn't think about Ashton going for Vampire, to be honest. It's an interesting spell, and SSP and Aviator, let's go! Both going for the Battle Scars. I wanted to see it in action for once, so they are going for the scaling.
Nice. And this should go on the Kingpin pretty much every wave, right? Just because he has so much more HP than any other unit.
Yeah. It should go now on the Kingpin and later on the Boar as soon as SSP is upgrading to a Red Eye.
But we might see a Kingpin just attacking like a Zeus, right? Like if he gets the attack speed upgrade every single wave, that might be pretty funny.
Now, it seems like Aviator is likely to buff his Alpha Male a lot, right? Or is it actually the Canopy off-tanking the Drake? It's so perfect for this Canopy, healing so much, so it's very likely to be the Canopy this wave.
It's a 9 workers, and again, he didn't hunt anything here. All 4 rats above ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, we expect that to change here on 12. Surely he goes for a 4 rat hunt. He does.
Oh, it's the Alpha Male on Aviator and the Kingpin on SSP that are getting the first buff. 450 HP, 400 HP and 3% attack speed.
He would love to have the buff on his Lioness, but unfortunately there's no real way to make that happen, right? And the Kingpin dream is starting to become reality. Like, he is going to keep getting that buff, I think, pretty much every wave.
Well, the question is damage taken calculated before the reduction of the Lioness?
Yeah,
or
I was
after?
wondering that. I'm really not sure. Like, if it's calculated post-reduction, then maybe the Lioness would start to take the stacks, but obviously...
If we have the spot now, the Lioness with 3 stacks is already beefier than the Alpha Male.
Yeah.
So as now both of those units die, it would be applied to the Lioness if that's actually the case. So
but I mean, his Lioness is still full HP here, so it's definitely going on the Alpha Male.
Not on this wave, but on the wave where both Lions and Alpha Male will die.
The Boar actually took the buff there on SSP's lane.
Yeah, because the Kingpin didn't die this wave. So the boar taking them. Stacks.
Here's wave 13. Aviator, by the way, massive 9 workers on wave 13.
But look at that. X-God placing down the Phoenix already. But the Phoenix is not in a position where it's going to tank a lot. So this is more of an DPS Phoenix tanking at the towards the end of the game. Or maybe like some shots of some ranged units.
Ashton actually re-rolling into the eggs, by the way, and playing one here.
Great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, Ashton really like had a pop start with the hard push 8 workers on 5. I think it was. Oh, is he losing this X-Tech?
Well, his gun dies, but no, I think that the gates are just going to be strong enough, right?
The gates are fine. Boom, there it is. Fine.
But would have been dangerous. Like, probably would have lost the egg to Ascend.
Definitely. So Lions this time tanking quite a lot.
Alright, Aviator and SSP, they know the Send is coming here. They just want to go income, probably king upgrades as well. I think that's a fine play. They know they can't really leak Ashton with his insane value here.
Is this the right time to go for a boar?
On Aviator's lane? He's kind of in two minds about it.
Yeah.
Going for the boar.
Okay, interesting. I mean, he still does have a lot of money back in the pocket, right? Going for another Canopy. I do like this situation, even though I'm not a big fan of Canopies overall.
Alright, so 420 against Aviator, 440 against SSP. SSP, I'm pretty sure, is in trouble here.
Pretty sure he is. He does not really look that great.
Let's
we
zoom
did
into
talk
his
about
lane.
this amazing combo, but the combo has its flaws, and this is actually in the mid game where you still rely on multiple damage dealers and not only on one, which is the Archers.
So that's quite a big leak on SSP. Aviator, meanwhile, let's have a look at his lane.
As well. Oh no!
Oh wow, this is a lot of damage actually.
Yeah, it is.
So 77% on SSP, 86% on Aviator.
That's not looking great at all, to be honest.
No. There's a lot of damage, and they actually sent themselves. Remember, they did go for the income and king things here, so it's not even like they have the pressure advantage either.
No, not at all. So there's this one thing now that is gonna help SSP and Aviator is that they have battle scars, right? So they're gonna scale the longer the game goes. But is this gonna be enough for them? Because they're not looking great on 16. They're not looking great later on. Actually, we have SSP now being so weak on 16, he might actually have to go for the mask here, but he didn't. I think he has to buff a mask now.
Look at this. This alpha male is absolutely huge. 4 stacks of battle scars, so that's already 1,600 hit points and 12% attack speed.
So what? The problem is now, the more stacks the alpha male gets, the less likely is that any other unit is going to take it. And this alpha male actually the best unit to take it. I mean, obviously it's the Lions in this role, but we don't know if it actually will ever get those stacks due to the damage reduction.
It might go on the Red Eyes, maybe.
Yeah, Red Eyes is still a unit that could take over some stacks. But obviously the attack speed is a lot better on the alpha male than
yeah, for sure. Alright, so everybody saving onto their mythic. Ashton goes double egg here? What? I should have been checking Ashton's lane. He's he's nearly leaking here though.
Yeah, but he still have the vampire on the gun, right, which is actually okay. Or just some.
Okay, there's an income zone coming out from SSP. Sorry, Aviator is saving his mythic.
2x, right? You do have 2x. You have to go for a non-income send. Or am I wrong? Go for the packed mold here, and you probably leak Ashton.
But they're scared though. Like SSP, he's 500 undervalue. He's not great on this wave. He makes the Hellraisers here, but they're all like non-tantrums.
It's the wrong wave. It's the wrong. He had to do him last wave.
Yeah.
He's using no split just for the sake of boar, but he does have one boar and it's not upgraded.
Yeah.
That's not really worth it.
Aviator has 3 canopies, which are absolute garbage on 16.
Yeah, that all together.
I think this might just be game.
Yeah, it doesn't look great for them.
SSP, he's not holding. That's going to be a really big leak on his lane. Aviator, let's go and have a look. That's not going to be a hold either. Let's.
I don't know.
I'm kind of worried, dude.
Awful. The Lions is still for life.
94% on SSP. Aviator, how is he doing?
Lion is still quite healthy.
He's doing
out.
better,
Not
but
quite
it's
hold.
still going to be a leak, right?
It's gonna be a leak, yeah.
And 49% there on Aviator. I think they might survive because all of these creeps are kind of low HP. They do have the Max King spell upgraded. I think they're going to survive.
Yeah, they are. But now what? Right?
Yeah.
You have Aviator. He's going for the full send with the 4-eye with some ads.
Yeah.
So he wants blood. He likely tries to get some shutdown of X-God.
Ashton is just in an insane spot. He has 3 fully stacked Hydras with an Ocean Templar buff, with double Vampire Gate, with an NPS. Like, when do you ever leak Ashton? Wave 20?
Okay. You do only get him on 20, I think. Maybe 19, but 19 with the value Ashton likely will have is gonna be a gamble.
Yeah.
Ashton, 46 worker, by the way.
Wow. Insane. And also being 145 overvalue while having those workers and 180 gold just in the bank.
It's just crazy. I mean, Aviator, he's still relying on the 3 reds he does have. I think it has been 4 before, but he had to sell 1 to cover himself up.
I think Aviator's just so far behind. Like, look at his value, look at his workers. I don't see how SSP and Aviator win this, but if anyone can, it's them.
I mean, now you do have X-God being in between a hold and a leak.
He's holding this.
So close.
X-God will hold this.
I think so as well, yeah.
And this was a full send from Aviator.
Just a waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. SSP once again an income. I think the last chance they are going for is a 20 or 20 plus win because SSP still does have the haters, right?
Aviator? I think he's leaking no send. Yes.
Okay, but this might be good for them to bait sends on the upcoming wave. And if they manage to hold here, they can still go Suicide 20.
Maybe it is a bait because Aviator does have 3 orchids. He can just keep his rats above ground, boost the orchids.
Exactly. So now they can go for the boosted orchids. So you have Aviator with the orchids, which I said, sorry about that, and the Arc of Justice on SSP. So overall, in theory, they're not looking as awful as they would on other waves. And then afterwards, they would have to push hard to make use of it.
Ashton will get the Shaman to go with that Kraken if he wants to. He might even go for double Kraken. Oh no, he goes for the Shaman. Now, this is kind of important here because the Boar can make it so that Aviator ignores the Kraken with the Shuriken. So let's see what happens there because I think if those Shurikens go into the wave, he might do okay, but if they're all on the Kraken, then he's just dead. And they're ignoring the Kraken, they're going for the wave.
That's perfect.
That's clutch.
Oh, now it's on the Kraken. Kraken getting burst.
But he already killed one of the creeps and the mole before they started going on the Kraken.
It's all about SSP holding, right? Because oh no, his haters attacked the backline.
Man.
Hermit. Yeah, that's it.
SSP leaking massive there, 98%. And Aviator, he doesn't hold either. 98% as well. Matching leaks for this is fine. And I'm not sure it is fine because this is game over here. A 2-1 lead.
And to be honest, this was actually the weakest game played by SSP and Aviator, right?
Yeah, this felt pretty one-sided, right?
Great, this one. Yeah, it has been a Reds, right? We had 2 Reds games today, and both of those Reds games didn't go well. Because people, I think, are just getting used to Reds players since they got buffed, so they know how to counter them.
I mean, look at the graph, right? Like, it's just green all the way through. Like, from wave 5 onwards, X-God and Ashton are just in command of this game. If we have a look through some of the waves, we can see every time that Aviator is bullied away from his rats while staying on 3 workers is just such high value for X-God and Ashton. Like, every time that happens is a little victory for them.
Definitely. Like, first of all, then the long waves we had, right? We had a leak almost any wave in the early game, and this is just hurting Aviator so much with the rats, especially him being most of the times the one leaking. And then Aviator just punishing him.
Aviator leaking 86% on wave 14 while having 9 workers, dude. I can't stress how bad that is. Like
2.9k value, something like this is crazy.
A big leak on wave 14 while having 9 workers is just you can't really recover from that. At that point, it's just game over.
I think he was just so far behind even before Wave 10 to not come back. I mean, we had a time where Ashton was on 12 workers and Aviator was still sitting on like 5.
Yeah, this was insane. Like Ashton and XCOD just start to finish, really well played.
The worst part about all this is that Aviator and SSP, they were even the ones deciding to go for the send order.
Yeah.
And then in the end, it just didn't go well for them.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Next lobby available.
Okay, we will have XCOD taking a short break.
Okay.
Because Ashton has to restart his PC.
Okay. Camera settings so that I'm not scaring everybody with this brightness.
Well, you're already scaring everybody with your face, but I think you
I mean, true. But the least I can do is try to make it a bit less bright, right? If not perfect, it's still my face after. Okay, so Ashton said his PC is going to crash, so he went to restart back in a couple of minutes. Thanks for the understanding. Okay, I might take that opportunity to go and grab some water so that I'm able to keep talking through the next couple of games. So I'm just going to stick up the schedule screen here, and guys, we will be right back in a minute or two. So don't go anywhere.
In a second.
Alright, I am back for the players here. Right, we're still waiting for Mr. Butcher to get back. Welcome back, Mr. Bonny.
Welcome. This is such a nice series. It's insane.
Alright, guys. Me and Bonny are back at least, so we're still waiting for Ashton, but maybe we can try and keep you entertained for a minute while he restarts his PC. I think the hamster just needs to be able to spin up the wheel a little bit, so he's probably feeding the hamster a couple of seeds or something like that, so it's got the energy to keep going for another game or two. But yeah, let's. What do you think? Like, we do have a 2-1 advantage now for the side of XCOD and Ashton.
We do.
You think they're going to just take this 3-1, or will SSP and Aviator make a bit of a comeback?
Well, I think this is definitely the Fiesta angle we were all looking for, right? No, I'm unsure. I think Aviator is definitely the one to go for a comeback like this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They just didn't have a great game, and Aviator is definitely one of the players that I would bet my money on to say he's gonna come back stronger and really gonna clap and make the reverse sweep and really go show the opponents now that this is gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I don't know if SSP is a teammate for exactly that, but we have to say that SSP was playing throughout all the 3 games we had so far very well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, SSP almost flawless, right? He didn't ever fall back behind in the first game. He was the one carrying really hard. I think he's really shining, even though naturally Aviator is the better player, at least in terms of elo.
Yeah, Aviator is just absolutely dominating the ladder. Like he did the same last season. He's number 1 this season by miles. He's like 100 elo ahead of second place.
What you all don't know is as soon as Aviator's plane is going on autopilot, he's starting the client. This is why he has so many times where he's just sitting in the lobby, because he's actually just on flight, but he has to work, and then he's just gonna switch to autopilot, going for the game, and there we go.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen of Twitch chat, I have some very good news for you, because we have Ashton Butcher back from restarting his wooden PC, and we are here ready for game number 4 of the March Cup. So all still to play for. XGod and Ashton, they do have a 2-1 advantage against This Is Fine, but if anybody can make a comeback, it will be SSP and Aviator. So let's get into game number 4.
Let's get... Oh, Divine Blessing. I love it already. I'm really looking forward to see some Divine Blessing units right there. I don't see any in the rules, though. Maybe the Asari from SSP. Could be nice. Or Divine Blessing... Oh, Divine Blessing, Pilgrim, APS, Antler, Bunk. What about this?
I mean, that's a pretty nice combo, right? That's pretty nice.
I mean, let's be honest, the Bunk
as well
with APS... Yeah, exactly. And Dark Mage. Ranger. Hello.
It's pretty solid. The problem is, if you're putting Divine Blessing on your tank, like even if it's a mega buffed tank with Pilgrim and White Mane and whatever, it only needs to die once and then you lose your Legion spell.
What about doing that sort of a Haven and in the backline you put the Divine Blessing Fatalizer? Going for the extra attack speed?
18% attack speed on
ramping up. Could be nice.
Yeah, cool. 18% attack speed on Fatalizer is going to make it do some pretty insane damage, honestly.
Yeah. So, apart from Divine Blessing, we do have 2 more interesting spells, which is one Creditor, which personally I don't like at the moment at all, because it just feels so much worse than, for example, Venture does.
I like Creditor, dude.
I know you do. That's why I'm going to continue with the 3rd spell, which is Pawn Shop. And I actually think that Pawn Shop is one of the best spells made for competitive play.
Yeah. Really interesting. Really interesting.
You just have the option to change your build every wave, basically. And therefore, sometimes it happens that you really see a player full selling his entire wave and just building for one wave straight to cover this weak wave. And this is plays that you have to read that are just perfect to be streamed.
And I have to say as well, on the subject of Pawn Shop, I've seen Aviator use this spell insanely well, because he's so good at reading the state of the game. Like, he knows when the send is going to come, right? So let's say he's expecting a big 12 send. He'll just Pawn Shop his Fatalizer, build a Haven, and hold easily. Like, he's that kind of guy.
Talking about Aviator, right? He already set it up for the Fatalizer with the Divine Blessing and the buffed Bunk. There it is. Look at it. This is going to be the play.
There's a post-income snail there from SSP. Does that ever break an egg? No, right?
No. But Ashton's showing the eggs for the 2nd time today. This is crazy.
He's going to get away with it as well, because SSP went for this post-income snail, which means now Ashton is not under any pressure on wave 3.
That's not true. That's not true at all, because the snail is going to take a long time, so SSP is maybe close to getting out another 40 cent now.
I don't think it's enough. I think he's going to be about 10 seconds short.
Yeah, it might... Oh, no. Yeah.
He never gets it.
Yeah.
He never gets it.
Yeah, never mind.
But X-God
I was
pushed to
hoping he
6
might
workers.
even push with his opener. I mean, he had the potential to push right with the gun. Take the league. League? I can't even speak anymore.
But Aviator, though, he knows he's receiving from the egg. He knows Ashton's low workers. He pushes 6 himself.
I don't know who saw my Legion House League game, but Seraphim actually tried something similar with 1 PV only, and 1 PV against a low send actually league 5 creeps only. I think a double PV could actually hold here. Obviously, just a snail.
The 1 snail against the egg plus bazooka, is it enough? Like, Ashton was pretty greedy, pushing to 4 workers there. Oh! 100 HP left on the egg there.
No. This is fine.
There's a hold on SSP. Aviator is going to leak, but he's completely happy leaking here, honestly.
Is he? Yeah. Because now workers are equal on both teams. So actually, I don't. Why do you think he's happy about it?
I mean, he's been on the 6 workers for longer.
Okay. But now they are the same time, right? As soon as he starts to leak, they're all in it.
But it was only a baby leak, right? Like, he's leaking 3 creeps while being rewarded.
I mean, the leak
by
overall
the
is fine for sure, right? He did get his push without being punished too hard. I do definitely agree in that part.
X-God here with 310 value. Does he ever leak against a dragon turtle?
Look at that. SSP just re-rolling the gargoyles now. If he did re-roll a bit earlier, getting the gargoyle, easy 6 worker, egg break.
Alright. So X-God will be fine here. He can continue to push if he wants to. But more importantly, he's now safe on 5 because he gets the dragon turtle send here. He's not under any pressure.
On 7, right? X-God so far, from what he shows, he's not looking too amazing on 7. Obviously, we see there's a Batcher in his role, but SSP and Aviator don't know about that. And Aviator and SSP, I could imagine them for going a longer team set, maybe.
Yeah, 7 definitely looks promising against what X-God and Ashton are showing. 8 as well would be insane if they could ever go straight wave 8.
Definitely 8 would look amazing.
And X-God and Ashton may be falling into the trap a little bit. They're going for the income sends here, which does mean that SSP and Aviator are not under any pressure. They can continue to save if they want to.
And this is something I think a lot of people learned when Gates were still played 3 seasons ago, when they were actually one of the best openers you could go for. X, get them early, right? Go for an income send till 4, and then you just save till 7 or 8, and you deny this hardcore push. And in some cases, they just don't have the Pierce for 8, for example, or the Arcane. This could happen to Ashton now as well, right? He has to get the Coiler, but a Coiler can be counted quite efficiently nowadays with a Mole, with a Hermit even.
I mean, the Coiler got nerfed a couple of times lately. Like, it's still an insane unit, especially on 7 and 8. But, like, 1, you can now kind of counter it on 8 with a Mole. And also, it just has less stats than it used to. So it's easier to leak a Coiler build than it was.
Ashton getting saved on, still pushing a worker.
SSP leaks 1 Scorpion here. Aviator, he's leaking 2, actually. So, long wave.
Aviator leaking with on-value income send? What? I mean, obviously, it shows minus 45, but Pilgrim is quite a nice unit here.
I'm not sure if the Pilgrim tanked the boss or not. I wasn't watching his lane, but maybe that would explain it.
It should, right? It should.
It should.
I mean, Ashton going for the resend. And now this is the time where it could actually happen that the long save from SSP and Aviator is gonna find the right spot. Oh no! 3, look at that! It's so great for X-God. Already going for the Sand Batcher, so she's showing the dominance for 7 and 8. It's perfect.
But he has no damage though on wave 7. Like, absolutely no damage, and even less on wave 8.
8 would be awesome.
And again, with this income send here, Aviator can just save until wave 8 if he wants to. He's not under pressure.
Like, this income send is really now the send he was waiting for, right? He can push off because the Berserker getting the heals, if now his Pilgrim is tanking one.
Yeah, perfect. The aggro on Aviator there is just absolutely insane.
Tanky too. He's tanking another one now as well.
Absolutely.
This is so great.
Perfect.
He's gonna leak a bit though. Heal. heal?
Oh, not in
little
time
bit
to
too
keep
late.
the Berserker alive. Okay.
Yeah, but probably the heal would have not mattered. Like,
I think the extra
Well, would
120
it leave the
HP on the
Rocco?
Berserker maybe would have been enough to kill the Rocco. I think so.
the lizard did attack it at least, so it's close, definitely. But this oh, 7 cents. A pack leader.
Okay. Pack leader from
Nice.
SSP.
Oh,
Aviator
is it-
doesn't get an ogre. He's 2 Mythium short.
So close, so
2
close.
Mythium off of that ogre. That would have been absolutely delicious for him.
This pack leader now, obviously, perfect if he's able to manage getting the pack leader down to the king, right? The pack leader reaching the king would be amazing because we will likely see Ekgot leaking a bit more since he's trying to reduce the incoming damage with the mole, getting one brutal lizard, I would assume, to make sure the tanks are dying.
There is a brute to go with it. X-God even hardens here. Can you imagine if they went wave 8?
8. Oh, there's no peers. I mean, it's likely to be a recent, right? Against Ashton. Ashton's surely gonna full push now. So you could
Yeah, of
recent
course.
Ashton and get him.
So his Hydra is
With this-
down. Oh, the Shroom comes over just in time to keep the Coiler alive that much longer.
And the pack leader was actually attacking the shroom, so it was denying a lot of damage.
But X-God is just holding, no?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
sniping
Ashton
them
was
all
on
now, it's just
fire
like-
here. 25 gold on
God.
7? Wow.
Castle and Chaos players are now less likely to go and shutdown, you know?
Yeah. But not Greed
And
players. They didn't say
Ashton
anything about
Butcher-
Greed players.
Ashton Butcher is basically starting wave 1 with a castle buff, right?
Well,
You can't-
Aviator had
you can't do
to stim here. He does hold, but that was only a lizard snail send.
Yeah, but now you do have the lead taken over by SSP and Aviator in terms of workers, right? You have Xcot who's now not pushing too hard. Ashton already pushed all the gold he got.
I
and
really
this
don't
recent-
think this was worth for them, though. I really don't think this was worth.
No,
This
no,
was
no,
a,
not at all. Not
This
at
was a
all.
long save. Ashton leaks, sure, but it was a pretty small leak. X-God holds. There is a resend coming
worth
through.
it if the recent hits, right? If this recent works out, it is for sure worth it.
Yeah.
But as I know Xcot, he's probably gonna build. Oh my god. He didn't.
X-God?
Only adding 20 so far. And Ashton full pushing, that's what I said, right? Ashton, you
He's
know
on
Ashton full
900
pushing.
value, though. The X-God
Yeah.
is on 900. Ashton should leak
but
here. The Hermit
he's
stops
dehardened,
the
right?
Coiler.
He's dehardened, and this might get sniped, this attempt.
Yeah, true.
So he's not too brave. The send is quite large, right? 140 against Xcot.
Yeah.
So now it's all about Ashton because you know that he's gonna full push here. He's only having this one coiler, and as this one coiler is not reaching the Hermit, he's always gonna need 3 hits for the wave creep until this Hermit dies.
Well, let's
Or
see. The Hydra
does
is
something.
going down, but he's getting really nice split aggro. Like,
Exactly.
really nice. The
Hello?
Coiler lives
Sniping the
forever.
coiler. Oh, nice.
He's still
Ashton
gonna leak.
leaking,
Still
Xcot
gonna leak.
leaking, and this is shutdown once again.
Oh, another shutdown. Actually, that's important.
Oh, this is so great.
25
This is
gold
not a
there.
turnaround.
But X-God at least is killing every Cobra, so he... Oh, no, he leaks one there on 2%. Caster's Curse.
Okay. So this is going to be the turnaround in one case if the next send that Ascot and Ashton are doing is not going to kill SP and Aviator because they already have a lot of Mythium.
Now look at this. This is a scary amount of Mythium that they have. And again, they're not under pressure. Okay, I was just about to say they're not under pressure, but they go for the 9 send anyway.
I personally would have liked a longer save as well, maybe 11 even though you do have the Chieftain.
The Aviator has the Chieftain here, but he doesn't have a good tank. So at the moment, the health is going on a Peewee, which is
Maybe
kind of a
Bone Crusher?
waste. Yeah, but
Maybe
he,
he's doing a Bone Crusher.
no, he has to sell that Peewee and turn it into a Bone Crusher, right? He has to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is he's doing it right.
And he does. Yeah. So he turns the Peewee into a Bone Crusher. That's a good call there from Aviator, reading the Wave 9 send.
I mean, they're still not looking great, right? Especially against 300 Aviator as well. It's just
300. And the Mimic goes right, by the way, so it will be able to kill the Veteran very quickly, it will kill the Berserker very quickly, and then it's going to start tanking the magic damage as well.
Look, I mean, he's sniping the Mimic, which is already great.
And perfect focus, by the way. The Mimic on this one, which is surviving. Okay, Aviator.
Oh my god!
Literally the luckiest man alive. Like, I've never seen anyone luckier than Mr. Aviator.
Yeah, you're definitely not the lucky man.
No. But they still leaks, so even with the perfect focus there and a good read to make the Bone Crusher on Wave 9, still leaking 69%. Pretty nice for Ashton and X-God. They're going to get some decent king damage.
And I was talking about them, SSP and Aviator now being able to get the comeback, not like this, right?
Yeah.
They leaked too much to make this comeback possible. And the work lead is just so insane on Ashton.
Ashton
Like
on
5
19 workers.
leading.
But they are going for another income send here, while SSP and Aviator save. So maybe if they give SSP and Aviator free Creditor, while XGod and Ashton are under a bit more pressure, that could be the start of a comeback?
That could be, definitely. You do already have this massive APS value you will have as soon as he's placing it, right?
Yeah.
As maybe upgrading the next Pilgrim, this is already going to be a lot of value for Aviator he will gain. And I'm actually unsure about this income send because we have SSP and Aviator not looking too awful in 10, only if they would have full pushed from last wave. So I think this income send is really giving them the chance they now need to make the play.
And even with the Daphne addition there for Aviator, just guaranteeing he's able to hold here on wave 10. SSP,
but there's no push
obviously
coming out from Aviator. There's no push.
Oh, an income send.
Income sends?
Okay.
Okay.
So they're happy with being able to force XGod and Ashton off of the Creditor while taking it for themselves. So they just want to get some economic advantage going.
Yeah, the question is this actually an advantage for them right now? Like, if you have a look at the rolls, yeah, SSP rolls looking okay, not too bad. Aviator having the XX that he's now going to start with, but
Creditor
I mean,
and X?
XGod not having an awful roll as well, right?
Oh.
So, I don't know.
SSP, what are you going for? He's spent his gold, so maybe he can't Creditor then?
Ashton. Oh, Ashton
SSP
not having
Divine Blessing.
anymore. Ashton already having to use a bazooka as a substitute for his tier 1.
That's fine though. He probably goes for another egg now on 12 after getting the big send here.
What is SSP going to use his Divine Blessing on? The cannon?
Maybe on the cannon,
next?
yeah.
Probably next, right?
It's kind of not perfect though, right? Like,
no, definitely not.
The 2000 HP is definitely wasted on the Vulcan cannon because it has negative damage reduction, right?
It's all about the attack speed.
Yeah.
Like, you only place this Divine Blessing on the cannon for the attack speed.
Yeah. But he could also just put it on a Doomsday. Like, 18% damage on a Doomsday is not something to laugh at.
Maybe. I guess it's gonna be the cannon though. Because Aviator is just not looking great on 12, right? And he kind of needs the cover from SSP.
And at the moment, he's just not putting it on anything.
Yeah, he might not want to lose it, right? But he might lose the game with this. So
he's so strong here on SSP though. Like, the Millennium's bad, but the rest of his stuff is good here, and he's got a decent amount of tanks.
Yeah, but all of his tanks are not great for the wave, at least. I mean, let's see, right? He does have the
NPS will tank before the Vulcan does, but then the Vulcan's going to die. He will.
Oh.
Maybe he should have used the Blessing.
You have a not looking too great as well.
Well, Aviator's losing his egg here. That's for sure.
Well, are they losing the game? Is the question. They're gonna leak 10 creams.
It's gonna be close.
Roughing the 4 and they only have 2 upgrades. It's gonna be close.
Look at the Easter egg, by the way. That's so nice, like the new special effects.
Especially the effect now when the egg hatches is getting the Hydra, right?
Yeah.
No, not now, but in the night, I think it is. There's a special effect with like party sounds.
But they do survive.
Yeah, okay.
The new Bot King is strong enough to live here. Yeah. So let's have a quick look at Aviator's lane now. We want to see the special effects. There we go. Fireworks all around. Very nice.
It's firework.
Yeah.
I didn't know anymore.
And he makes another Easter egg there.
Oh, did you, by the way, see the new animation of the Red Eye skin?
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, really nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
So now SSP and Aviator may be the start of the comeback that they were looking for. Because SSP has a ton of...
Heal is the comeback.
SSP now has played his Divine Blessing. It's on a Millennium, which now has plus 48% attack speed. Hello?
I mean, Ashton's 2.8k value.
Wow.
You know what's gonna happen again? Ashton
Look at this
is
thing,
gonna get
though.
saved for a long time now.
Yeah. Look at this thing go. Absolutely insane.
Oh, there's already the MPS as well. Yeah, like it. Okay, hear me out. I think you should done another Doomsday on the middle.
Yeah.
Where here, because then you can on top give it the Ocean Templar.
We've got big sends coming out here on wave 14. There's a Ram from X-God. There's Ogre Cannon from Ashton. But SSP...
Do you want to send into a Divine Blessing MPS APS Doomsday?
You know, apparently you do. And it is a big send, you know? Like, it's got another 100 Mythium to go with the Siege Ram.
It's a... Oh, now we have it. Finally. Can we please now get the APS for the predicted Banana Haven with APS buff, Chieftains, and Dark Mage? Obviously,
Aviator on 3.2k value.
Did Aviator actually roll away the ranges on wave 1 and then re-rolled them?
Look at this thing. Dude.
I think he didn't. I think he didn't take them.
48% attack speed on a Doomsday, and all of that bonus HP, by the way, just means it can tank for
But it's
days.
not looking too great for him. There's still half of the wave. And then there's on top Aviator maybe not holding.
I think he's fine. I think he's okay. It's getting pretty close.
I think he's dying. It is dying.
Oh, he loses the blessing! Oh no! Oh, SSP, no, the blessing is gone.
You should have used it on 12, man.
Yeah.
Egg dead.
Aviator loses another egg here.
Dead. Ouch. X got 32 workers.
Look at those fireworks all over the place while the Ogre wails away with his club.
X got 32 workers now. Aviator losing the egg. SSP losing his Divine Blessing. This is not looking great for them.
But SSP has 750. I mean, just look at Ashton's value.
On a blow, right?
Yeah.
But when is this going to happen?
When do they ever leak Ashton? Like, he's already 3.5k value before building.
Maybe 16. We have 16, quite some problems. X-God.
Enough to kill them, though, on 16?
What's the king spell? You do have Frost Chain, not great spell on 16.
Frost Chain's
you do have
bad.
with those spell, with those numbers of
Well, he's already going to make Pyros,
don't
right?
show it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the amount of ascent around 1k, you still can kill people on 16.
He is showing the bazooka.
Maybe he is showing the bazooka on purpose to force them not to go 16 and then go for another wave, maybe?
Maybe.
I mean, is there another reason to do the bazooka here and not the king ups?
Another egg from Aviator.
What is the option?
I mean, they just...
apart from 16. Is it 18? Maybe
they're just
18?
going to die on 16, no? Aviator and SSP, because Aviator doesn't have the value to keep that egg alive.
I mean,
no way.
Aviator with the egg is going to be 3.3 right now without the egg. Right, so he's going to be on decent value, going Fatalizer Ranger maybe.
They don't send.
On the other hand, second cannon, I don't like that.
I'm pretty sure that SSP is actually saving for Legion TD3.
Oh, he is for sure.
Look at this, he's got 970
on next game, right? SSP will be able to send 2 snails on 1.
Yeah.
With all the Mythium saved up. Or maybe a Centaur, right? I mean, Centaur's actually a trash unit unless you get it on wave 1, so it might work out.
And do they ever hold here? Aviator does have really high value, but
he's not going for the Fatalizer, so he's relying on the Chieftains.
Oh, I don't know, dude, I don't know.
Now a Punch-Up would be great, huh?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Let's see. I think Aviator does have the chance to hold.
With the DPS the cannon's already dying for SSP, both dead. That's a massive leak for SSP.
I think it was not a second cannon to go.
85% on SSP. He is saving his Mythium for next game.
I mean, Aviator, is this a hold? No, it's not a hold.
It doesn't matter. Like, he's not holding, but even if he does, that's like an entire wave in the mid from SSP.
Yeah, there's not enough king ups. I'm pretty sure this is it.
This is game. GG, X-God, Ashton Butcher, 2 times winner of the Nova Cup.
And you die like this. Oh.
Wow, well played, those guys.
Yeah, very well played. I think we had very exciting first 2 games, but in the last 2, we actually just saw Ashton and XGod shine a bit more. They just found a better place. They were able to take the leads, especially in the early game, and then secure the win in the end.
What a series! I mean, SSP, like, he had to save, I guess, because Ashton was on absolutely astronomical value. Like, we see this 4.8k value on 16 with Pyros. There's no way he's ever leaking there. He even pawn shopped all of his Wanderers from the split, turned them all into Pyros, so he was completely safe on 16.
The worst part is, if he doesn't get a send on 16, right, he's just going to pawn shop the Pyros.
Send the Pyros back into Wanderers again, exactly.
Who cares?
But yeah, SSP, like, he's saving his Mythium for April's Nova Cup, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder a bit about the second cannon, right? SSP really not having any tanks, so maybe just a King Claw would have been a bit better. I mean, there's no chance to hold the 600 cent with his value here. After saving since wave 11.
He went with the income send on 11, and then he was just saving forever, I guess, after that. But, man...
Those X were really right. I mean, they kind of had to. Aviator had to go for the X to, like, first of all get income himself and to force the opponents to go for other waves. But after wave 14, went so miserably, right? SSP losing the Divine Blessing. I think this was so crucial for them.
That was big. Yeah, that was really big. Yeah.
Losing that so close, and then Aviator losing his egg only with the Ogre alive. I think those was, like, very close for both of them. If they just manage to hold here, I'm pretty sure they have a good shot on going for the all-in play.
Yeah. Oh man, what a series, what a treat. Let me see if we can get XGod and Ashton in on for a little winners interview.
Sure, let's do that.
Oh, dude, that was intense. Like, I kind of wish that we would have gone to game 5, but if it has to be... If it has to be a 4-game series, that was a hell of a way to end it, because that was a really exciting game.
Yeah, it was. I really loved the series. It was amazing all the way. We had an amazing semi-final as well. I'm a bit sad I didn't see the other one.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was a banger as well, so I'll definitely rewatch it on Shadow's stream for everybody who wants to do so.
Right, let me see if these guys are on Discord. I might have... Alright, we're still just waiting to hear from... Ashton says he'll pass.
He doesn't want to give away all the tricks he was going for. This was... Damn, it was actually insane. Like, especially the first 2 games, they were crazy. The first game, holy shit. With the save on 18 going for the 19, that was intense.
Yeah, exactly, man. I think I have to give XGod
I think we can just
permission to come in here. You know how to move him? Ah, there we go. Hello.
Hello.
XGod, dude, congratulations, man. This is the first team to win 2 Nova Cups. So you won January, and now you've won March as well. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you very much.
Really well played. That was an insane series.
Great performance overall.
You guys crushed.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we did play really well in all 4 games. I mean, the first game was pretty close, but the first 2 games was pretty close. But after that, I think we played really well.
Yeah. I mean, they won the first game, right?
Yeah, they won the first game, and we won the next 3 games.
But you guys, like, clearly not phased by the first loss, and they just came back absolutely swinging and just won 3 games in a row. That's pretty insane, dude.
Yeah.
So, super.
I mean,
well
that's the thing with the best of 5 series, right? Because in a BO3, if you're down 1 game, sometimes you get nervous and like you have to you have to think twice before making a decision. But in a 5-game series, you say down 1 game, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys clearly not phased. Like, you didn't play scared. If anything, I thought Aviator was playing scared when he had Ashton sending into him. Like, there was a bunch of times there where Ashton was like forcing him away from the treasure hunt on his rats and just keeping that pressure, and then just going for an income send anyway, knowing that Aviator's going to keep his rats above ground. Like, it was really, really well played by you guys, I think.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of high-level plays in this game, like just both team raiding each other. For the pack rat, I think what we said is, I think that was game 3. I said, look at him, he only has, I think was infiltrated and works, so just go for 7, and he's gonna force him to stay low workers and not have any meet him, and that's what we did.
Yeah, there was one of those games where Aviator was getting absolutely bullied by Ashton. He had like 3 workers on wave 6 or something like this. It was kind of hard to watch, honestly. Like,
I think it was below 10 workers on 10 still, so that worked out pretty well.
That was the one where you won on 14, right? And Aviator was like 9 workers on 14 and still leaking 80%. That was insane.
Yeah, that was the game 3 we were talking about just earlier, because we I noticed his build has a lot of flaws in a lot of waves, so we said, okay, we're gonna target those waves, and that's how we get ahead in that game.
Yeah.
Now we know about this game number 3, how you managed to do so, but we've been watching you now in the semifinals today and the grand finals, and you've always kind of played around Ashton as the strong player, letting him income send a lot. Was this planned, or did this just develop throughout the 2 series?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I know that he's a very strong player, and if given a good game, he's just gonna carry it and just run away with it. And so I make sure I do whatever I can to give him a good game. I mean, it includes starving my opponents and covering him on his bad waves, just playing around him in general. And that's the it's the plan, and it worked.
Yeah, I mean,
this was no time planned. Nice.
I mean, as you say, dude, like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because it's clearly working. Like, you guys have had some phenomenal tournament success lately. Winning 2 of the first 3 Nova Cups already is insane. You even won the Devilfish and the Polywog Cups like sometime last year. Like, you guys are just absolutely on a roll at the moment.
About diversity. Sorry, please go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
We've seen now 7 games full greed. When will you allow Ashton to go YOLO in cup games?
Yeah, you have to stop bullying Ashton, dude. You have to let him play YOLO. Come on, man.
He was doing it yesterday in the first day, and I just keep question marking him when he leaks. So I think that's a lesson.
So even Ashton, you were able to make him take it seriously in the grand final. I mean, to be fair, there's like decent money on the line these days in Legion tournaments. Like,
it is. I mean, $300. That's it's a lot.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days Ashton will be able to buy himself a new computer.
Yeah, not crash in the middle of the game. One day.
Give the hamster a break. You know, he's getting really tired running around that wheel every time.
Soon he will have to exchange hamster after each cup.
Yeah. But I mean, X-God, Ashton obviously couldn't be here right now, but just massive congratulations to you guys. Super well played throughout. It's an absolute pleasure to watch you guys play. Like, it really is mastery of the game on display, and it's just been an incredible series. So congratulations again to the winners of the March Nova Cup. Well played, X-God. Well played, Ashton Watcher.
Thank you very much.
Let's enjoy the break.
Yeah. All right, guys in Twitch chat, I think that's probably a good point to end the stream. X-God, thank you so much for joining us. Bonny, of course, thank you for joining me as the caster. It's a massive pleasure, dude. It wouldn't be the same without you. It's great to have you back on the cast again. And a big thanks, of course, to all of the organisers, Seraphin, Natto Dog, all of the developers at Auto Attack Games for putting on the game that we all know and love. It's an absolute pleasure to be involved, and yeah, it's just another phenomenal Nova Cup here.
I have nothing to add. I mean, thanks for having me. I really did enjoy it. Great game. I hope you did as well. And thanks a lot to Penny, who has been casting all the Nova Cups games in a prime time. Great stuff.
Thank you, dude. All right, guys. Guys, Twitch chat, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I certainly have enjoyed the cast. So make sure that you're back here again for April's Nova Cup, because we are going to have these cups running every month this year, which is super hype in itself. So yeah, if you're a fan of high-level Legion gameplay, I know that I am, make sure you're back again next month for another Nova Cup. Guys, see you later.